Hey, good morning. Yeah, sorry, Robert. It took me a bit longer today. I have an issue with the dryer exhaust. Um, had my in-law was working on some sort of like a pipe, I guess, where all the lint goes out from the house. So they had to dig through that, and it's been a little bit hectic. But we are now live, and I thank um, God for another day of life. Thank you guys for being here with me. Appreciate you. I know that you guys can be anywhere else today, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. Welcome, Burning 47 cardboard cutouts. Not sure what that means. Let's see, Chair Bear, how are you? Hope you're doing good. We're going to listen to President Trump right now. Let's see, Janice, good morning. Weddle, good morning. Let me go ahead and get our video started so that we can actually get into our talk. This is President Trump with is hosting with friends from Ireland. This is a lunch on St. Patrick's Day. I haven't watched any of the things that I'm going to show you, so we're going to watch it together. All right? Here we go.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, everybody. What an honor this is. Yeah, it's 6 times. Can you believe it? Moving along. Well, we like it. You're a healthy guy. Between you and you, you've done very well medically, I can tell you. But there's a lot of, it's too long a story to tell, but these two guys are very special. I want to thank our great speaker. He's a great speaker, actually. He's a great speaker. Because when you think of everything that we've passed with a sometimes majority of one, when we get back to 2, 3, and 4, Mike, we think we have it really made. We lost a couple, and we had a couple of people. They're in heaven now. They're looking, and that didn't help us with the vote, but we're doing all right, and you're getting things done like really nobody. I think there's never been anything like it, so I just want to thank you. You're doing a fantastic job. And I want to thank that beautiful, you're not allowed to say that about women anymore, but I say it anyway. Usually it's the end of your career. You're not allowed to use the word beauty in any form to introduce a woman, but she happens to be beautiful. Kelly, thank you very much. All Irish. I'm in deep trouble. I'm in deep trouble. There'll be headlines when I get out of this room, but I'll stick with it. But and then your family is so incredible too. So thank you very much. And to every friend of Ireland in this room today, I just want to wish you a very happy St. Patrick's Day, special day. It's a very great day. And to Chuck, you are a man that I've gotten to know, and you mean business. And he can tell a story like nobody can tell a story. And then he said, how did you speak for almost 2 hours? A couple of weeks ago at a call, I'd called State of the Union. I said, you could do it very easily. I guarantee you that. He could do it. But we've had a really great relationship. And Mary, thank you very much. Terrific. Thank you very much to be with you both. I hope you enjoy your stay. Also with us is House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Steve, great job. Deputy First Minister of Northern Ireland, and they get along so well. I saw that. You get along very well together. That's the way it's supposed to be, huh? I don't know if I should be promoting merger. I love mergers, but I didn't know. We're going to get in a little trouble. We're going to get in more trouble with that than the beauty. But Emma Little Pengali, thank you very much, Emma. Thank you very much. And the ambassador from the Republic of Ireland, Geraldine Byrne Nason. Geraldine, thank you, Geraldine. Thank you very much. Ambassador from the United Kingdom, Christian Turner. Christian, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. Thank you very much. And the U.S. Ambassador to Ireland, a great golfer. This guy can play golf. He can play golf. Walshy, right? Can't you, huh? But Trump's not bad. I know. He's a great player, and he's having a lot of fun over there. What is that for a guy who loves golf? Is that the best location? Can you imagine? Ambassador to Ireland? That's got to be the greatest job in the world. Anyway, have a good time. Have a good time. You're doing a good job. As many of you know, this year we're celebrating something that is very special, the glorious 250th anniversary of America's founding. That's a big deal, and I'm very happy to be here. I wasn't supposed to be president right now. I was supposed to be maybe in Ireland taking it easy, or someplace taking it easy. But I'm president now, and I got the Olympics, I have the World Cup, and I have the 250th year, and we all have it together. And I just do want to say that the war is proceeding very, very strongly. We're doing very, very well. Iran, knocking the hell out of them, and you have to do that. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. They were 2 weeks away, in my opinion, 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. If those beautiful, magnificent machines, those B-2 bombers, if they didn't do their job 7 or 8 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon, and there would have been no talking to them, no talking at all. They would have used it very gladly, very happily, and you sort of see that by the fact that they were sending missiles, ballistic missiles, powerful missiles, to all of their neighbors, and for the most part, they were supposed to be somewhat friendly with their neighbors. They were going to blow the hell out of them, and that was going to be the Middle East, between Israel, the Middle East, and Europe would have been there, and we would have been there. There would have been no stopping, and we did a good job, and a lot of people appreciate it. A lot of presidents know they should have done it. It was 47 years of terror. Every time you see somebody with no legs, no arms, a face that's been really so badly damaged, so badly hurt, lives destroyed, 95% chance it came right out of Iran. They loved that bomb. They loved that bomb. And the father of that was, as you know, Soleimani, General Soleimani. And we got rid of him in my first term. And if we didn't get rid of him, I think it might have been a different story, because he was a bad guy, but he was a brilliant guy if you like to fight dirty. And he fought as dirty as you can. So we've done something that a lot of people said that other people should have done long before I got here. But it's my honor to do it, and we've had a very big day today. We knocked out things that nobody thought were possible to knock out. Today was a very big day already. As part of this great celebration, we also honor 250 years of cherished Irish-American friendship and 250 years of fierce, proud, tenacious Irish-American heritage. These are incredible people. Oh, I know so many Irish. They're difficult, though, you know? They're very difficult. And they're great politicians. You know, I was just told, right, that 23 American presidents have some Irish blood in them, right? Some a little bit, and some a lot, right? That's a pretty big number. I don't think and nobody else competes with that. But out of the 56 signers of our Declaration of Independence, 11 were patriots with roots in Ireland. Back in July 4th, 1776, it was a son of Ireland who actually printed that sacred document for the first time. Who knew that? And it was also an Irishman who first read its immortal words to the American public, proclaiming aloud that we are all made free and equal by the hand of our Creator and endowed by God with rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That came out of the blood of Ireland. The Irish did not come to America. They helped found America, the fact is, and they helped build America. And these are incredible people. I know them well. And with a little bit of Irish luck, they helped make America into the most exceptional nation the world has ever seen. And we're doing better. We had to do a little excursion, if you don't mind. A little excursion to take care of nuclear weaponry in the hands of maniacs. But other than that, in a couple of weeks, and won't be much longer, it's moving along fast. We're way ahead of schedule. Did you know that, Mr. Speaker? I'm trying to save a lot of money by being ahead of schedule. We're way ahead of schedule. Nobody would have thought, a great war historian told me today, nobody would have thought you could do that much damage in that little time, 2 weeks. But we're way ahead. But we had prior to that, and really, I guess you could say after that, but prior to that, and it'll bounce back so fast, the oil prices will drop like a rock, and the economy is so powerful, so strong. And, we hit 50,000 on the Dow Think of that, 50,000. I was told you'll never hit 50,000, not for the first 3 years. Maybe at the end of the fourth year, you might be able to hit it. We hit it in the first year. And we then hit 7,000 on the S&P, and that was even more of a long shot, Steve. That was a chance that they said you couldn't do that. That was harder than 50 on the Dow. 7,000 on the S&P. We hit that before the end of the first year. And all of those things. And then I said to myself, well, we're doing great. We're doing great. I went to Susie, my beautiful Susie Wiles. There's nobody like Susie. I went to Susie. Right? And everybody's with her, and she's a great woman, really. She's a great woman. But I went to Susie. I always go to Susie. I said, Susie, do you mind if I take a little excursion here? Do you mind if I, we're hitting all these records, right? More people are working in the United States today than ever before. I could name this. I don't want to bore you because this is all about Ireland. This is all about, but you're a big part of it because you're a big part of this country. But I said, do you mind if I take a little excursion, my chief of staff, because I want to do this. I have Marco here. We have a lot of our great people. JD is here. They're all here, and I say, let's do this. We got to do it right. Should have been done by many presidents. Should have been done long before 47 years. It's 40 years of living in terror. They're called the bully of the Middle East, but they're really the bully of the world because he used oil to bribe, right? They used oil to bribe and to, gain power. I don't know what they gained. What did they gain? What the hell? How are they doing? Not so good. They're all gone now. Every one of them, they're all gone. We don't even know who to, our biggest problem, we don't know who to deal with. Over here, I can call the Speaker of the House. He's so powerful. I can call him. I can make a deal. Maybe. I can even call your Democrat counterpart, this guy. I said to Kelly, what do you think of your counterpart? He said he's a great guy. This is Republican, Democrat. I never thought I was going to hear that about you. Let me shake your hand, please. When Kelly tells me that, I said, that's the way it used to be. That's the way, not so long ago. And maybe someday that's the way it'll be again. It's really great. But I said, do you mind if I take a little excursion? Because we have to do something. And it'll be a short-term excursion. But we have all these great things going. And we had we could have gone up, up, up. It was only going in one direction. But I think now it's going to go much higher than it would have gone had we not taken this little journey. And so I appreciate all of the people that have worked with us. That was not an easy decision to make. We have a country that was hotter than any country anywhere in the world and doing great in every way. And I say, we have to put out this cancer. It's a cancer. We had to take that operation, and we did, and it was very successful. And it continues. Frankly, as somebody said, they could leave today and it would take 10 years to rebuild the damage that's been done. But I think we have to make it a little bit more permanent because no other president has to go through this, and we shouldn't have any other president having to go through this kind of a thing. And if they didn't want to do it, if for some reason they didn't want to do it, we'd have the same problem. We don't ever want to have that problem again, not with lunatics. We can't have lunatics controlling nuclear weaponry. So I just want to thank everybody. Let's get back to Ireland. Do you mind? Ireland, we don't mind. Ireland is a nice place. I love Ireland. In fact, we're going to have the Irish Open at a property that happens to be owned by yours truly, but I have nothing to do with it. I own it, but I don't even like to talk to my son. He says, Dad, we're doing great with the I'm allowed to run it, but I don't choose to. Dad, we're doing great. Eric calls up. He's doing a good job. Do you like Eric? I think so, right? Who doesn't like Eric? But he calls up, Dad, we're doing a great job in Ireland. What's going on? Well, we're doing this and that. I said, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it. Of course, if we were treated badly, I'd let him know very quickly. But I think you are very proud of what's been done over there by the Trump organization, right? It's one of the greatest places, one of the greatest golf courses in the world, and it's an honor to hold the Irish Open there. It's coming up very shortly, and it's a great honor. Thank you. And say hello to Rory McIlroy and all of those great players, because they are truly great talents. And they're wonderful people, friends of mine. But over the centuries, 130 members of the House and Senate have been born in Ireland and been elected to work in these great halls. Think of it, that's a lot. Our national anthem itself was signed by the sight of the Star-Spangled Banner waving over the fort named for the son of Ireland, Fort McHenry. When Americans ventured west on the Oregon Trail, they were guarded by troops stationed at Fort Riley, named for the Irish-American warrior who President Grant called the finest specimen of physical manhood I've ever looked upon. We didn't know that about President Grant. I think we just learned something. But I could say that about your sons, okay? Kelly, I could say that about your sons. One's a boxing champion. They're like champions. Who would think from this one? It's got to be from them. Well, I didn't know about your Italian roots either. I thought he was a super wasp. You know, to me, Mike was always a wasp. Now I learned that this is serious Italian stuff, right? Well, that'll be good for you, I think. You know, your image, his image has changed a hell of a lot very quick. He's great. Even today, when Americans visit Gettysburg, they find a Celtic cross honoring the soldiers of the famed Irish Brigade and defended our Union in its pivotal hour, most pivotal hour, and they were there. And it said that more than 50% of all congressional medals of honor are awarded. Think of that, 50% went to people who had parents, one or the other, Irish American. That's a lot. We're going to have to look. That's because we have so many Irish politicians. That's how that works. But we can't let that. We got to make some changes in that. That's too many. Don't you think, Kelly? I think. But from 1776 to today, our country has stood strong and free, in no small part due to the spirit of the warriors. You really are warriors. You're incredible. And the Fighting Irish, you know, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, is a reason for it. I don't know how many Irish people are playing on the team, though. How many Irish people do we have on the team? I'm not sure we have so many. Well, you got him. You have Kelly. Kelly's a warrior, let me tell you. As the Taoiseach has said, and the President reminds us today, the United States and Ireland continue to build upon the age-old bond together. We are strengthening the ties of culture. We have a tremendous deficit, by the way, I want to tell you right now. I looked at the numbers. You guys are much better business people than our past politicians. We have to talk about that deficit. Are we allowed to talk about that today? It's a substantial deficit. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, Walt said tomorrow. And cooperation that really does stretch back many, many generations. Under our leadership, as we speak, Irish companies are investing more than $6 billion into the United States, including $45 million in Pennsylvania, $70 million in Colorado, and over $100 million in New Mexico and Ohio. And I'm hopeful that we'll soon reach a deal to let American liquefied natural gas, and that'll bring down your deficits a lot. So I think you have to make this deal with us. We, got to do something. But these companies are going to be fueling your homes and factories and all of the other things. We have a lot of energy in this country. We have more than anybody. We have the most energy of any country in the world by far. So we want to sell a little of that to you, and the deficit will come down, 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 and everybody's going to be happy. So you got to buy a lot of our stuff. But in this small and beautiful, it's a beautiful room. I love this room. It's been a very warm room. I've had a good time. I have so many friends and so many relationships that I've gotten from this room, mostly from this event. But on this St. Patrick's Day, as we press ahead toward the opportunities that await, let us remember the beautiful words of St. Patrick himself. May the power of God preserve us. May the wisdom of God instruct us. May the hand of God protect us. May the way of God direct us. May the shield of God defend us. And may the host of God guard us. That's beautiful. Thank you. And today we add, may God bless the people of Ireland, and may God bless the United States of America. And it's great to be with you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy for you. Thank you, everybody.
Well, right. Thank you, Mr. President, for saying that my sons are tougher than me. That's really appreciate that on national television. As you say, thoroughbreds make thoroughbreds. Okay, we'll go with that. Mr. President, I am so honored to introduce our special guest, and this is not his first one of these luncheons, the Friends of Ireland, and he has been a great friend to us. And without further ado, I will bring up and introduce the Taoiseach himself, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Chairman Neil and Kelly, representatives, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for welcoming me and Mary, of course, to Washington, D.C. to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I'm delighted that I'm here today with, of course, the Deputy First Minister from Northern Ireland, Emma Little-Pengelly, and, of course, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Hilary Benn, who is also with us. Mr. Speaker, I greatly appreciate your kind words and for hosting this lunch. And may I pay tribute to your wisdom in choosing an impeccable Irish woman with great heritage as your wife, and with a name O'Leary, you have to be from my part of the country in Ireland. Well, we greatly appreciate your kind words, and a proud tradition this is since its inception back in 1983, as you've said, through the shared vision of President Reagan and Speaker Tip O'Neill. And this gathering signifies the ties that bind our two countries and the bipartisan commitment to peace and reconciliation in Ireland. Almost 250 years ago, this country embarked on a great democratic experiment, one driven by the idea that we all share natural rights to life, to liberty, and to the pursuit of happiness. Those values were eloquently expressed in the Declaration of Independence, signed by three men born on the island of Ireland, and many others of Irish descent, and first printed by Irishman John Dunlap. Since the founding of the United States, Irish people have been at the beating heart of American democracy and civic life. As politicians, faith leaders, police officers, firefighters, nurses, community leaders, and construction workers, Irish people helped to build the American dream with tenacity and with courage. As all of us in this room know, courage comes in many forms. Mr. Speaker, today I am reminded of Margaret O'Herrera, a woman born into deep poverty in County Leitrim in 1813, who found a better future in your own state of Louisiana. Through hard work and determination, Margaret overcame tragedy to set up a number of businesses. First a small dairy, and then a bakery, which grew to employ 40 people. She was renowned for her business acumen, her deep faith, and her charity. The orphanages she helped to build across New Orleans remain as her legacy. Margaret's grit and determination, her hard work, entrepreneurship, and innovation, and her dedication to giving back to her community embodies the best of what it is to be Irish here in the United States and at home in Ireland. Margaret O'Herrera was an entrepreneur to her bones, but she would marvel at the economic relationship that exists today between Ireland and the United States. Every day across this great United States, more than 200,000 Americans go to work each morning in nearly 800 Irish-owned companies, operating in every sector, in every state, and Ireland is the 5th largest foreign investor in the US. From little acorns, mighty oaks grow. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, on my journey to Washington this year, I stopped by Philadelphia, the birthplace of the American Revolution and the home of your remarkable Declaration of Independence. Viewing the exhibition at the Museum of the American Revolution, I was struck by how those who signed the Declaration knew that the profound and serious step they were taking would change not just this part of the world, but the course of human history. nothing would ever be the same again. As Thomas Jefferson himself declared, may our Declaration of Independence be to the world what I believe it will be, to some parts sooner, to others later, but finally to all, the signal of arousing men to burst the chains and to assume the blessings and security of self-government. All eyes are opened, are opening to the rights of man. The American Revolution gave hope and example to all who yearned to be free, including in Ireland. That the great republic launched in 1776 exists today owes much to the vision and wisdom of its founding figures, but it also owes its enduring strength to all those who have played their part in sustaining it, including in those who have served in this august building. Mr. Speaker, Congress continues to play its vital part in the story of American democracy under your leadership, Mr. Speaker. Congress has also brought people together across the aisles to play a pivotal role in achieving and securing a lasting peace on the island of Ireland. I pay tribute to the generations of people who have served here and who believed in and invested in this peace. We will never forget them. We will always remember that in our darkest and bleakest hours, they kept the faith. And we still need your support and your energy to maintain that peace and to support reconciliation. Mr. President, thank you for your friendship for Ireland, a country you know well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your gracious hospitality, for this opportunity to break bread with so many true friends of Ireland. There is truth in the Irish proverb that the road to a friend's house is never long. Thank you, co-chairs Mike Kelly and Richie Neal, for your unstinting commitment to peace and prosperity on the island of Ireland. And thank you for bringing so many members of this House from both sides of the aisle together on St. Patrick's Day and throughout the year. A very happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. As we say in Gaelic, Gorv Mila Mahagav, Agus Banachti, Na Ela Podrig Orav Galer. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Taoiseach. And Mr. President, again, I told him he had an hour and 47 minutes, Senator Welch, because that's how long the State of the Union was, and he was much shorter, so thank you for that. It is a short road to the People's House, and we're glad to have you again. Now, my friends, I get to introduce two musical acts for us today. We're very excited about this. We're blessed to have twice the entertainment today. So the first is a musical very much in the spirit of this historic year for us, the American 250th anniversary, Where Eagles Fly tells the story of one Irish family's difficult journey across the Atlantic here to America. It is a journey of hope, resilience, and faith as they sought to build a new life in this grand new land. And please give a very warm welcome to the performers of Where Eagles Fly. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Firstly, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for your kind invitation to perform at this very prestigious lunch. And good afternoon, Mr. President, Taoiseach, and very distinguished guests. My name's Trevor Marshall, and I'm very proud and delighted to be here today. I'm the executive producer of this new musical called Where Eagles Fly, and it celebrates the contribution the Scots-Irish made to the history of the land of the free. Many other nationalities have also played a significant part in the creation of this great nation, but today, on St. Patrick's Day, it's all about the Irish, yeah? And their story is remarkable. This year you celebrate 250 years. You don't make it easy. The semi-quincentennial, got it, I think, since the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. Many do not realize the impact the Scots-Irish have had in building this great country. The musical is intended to tell their story in a most amazing way. I'm a direct descendant of the leader of one of the first expeditions to America. The Reverend Robert Blair set off with 140 Presbyterians in the year 1636, 400 years ago almost. They left a little town called Grunsport near Belfast, and fleeing persecution, seeking freedom to live and worship according to their consciences in the New World. His story inspired this musical. The Scots-Irish are the bedrock of the United States. Their deeds have shaped the nation from the Declaration of Independence to the moon landings and beyond. They've provided leadership out of all proportioners Irish roots. May surprise some to learn that the early Presbyterian settlers were responsible for soldiers such as Davy Crockett, performers such as Dolly Parton, business leaders such as Thomas Milne. He's about to be trumped. Thank you. The contribution of the Scots-Irish goes far beyond famous deeds and famous people. It is their character and ideals, especially their love for freedom, that has had the greatest impact. For they have literally defined what it is to be American. Finally, the creator of this great musical and my great friend, John Anderson, sadly passed away before realizing his ambition of bringing this show to America. John would have been a very, very proud man today. So here's a short excerpt from the musical. I hope you enjoy it. It's called Where Eagles Fly. Thank you.
Let your thoughts fly. Let your heart soar higher and higher while eagles fly, until at last in silence you find peace and you know who you are. So let your hopes dare to lead anywhere on faith which we can depend.
As long as we live, our spirit will give the strength for the journey's
and they take your enjoyment away just like that. All right, let me go ahead and address something very quick. This is for Slump, and I don't care if you want to be my friend. I don't need friends that are going to be against America either. Let me tell you something. People that come into my channel sometimes they come in with a negative left wing, fear mongering, negative mentality, and also think that our warriors, that our soldiers are a bunch of pussy cats. That they don't have the courage, or they have no heart to know that when they are enlisting in the military, they're going to have to do things that they might not agree with, but they have to do it because that's who they represent, the United States of America. Listen, I will be more happy to oblige. I'll be more than happy to show you how my sons can go to war, serve in the military. You know what? That's their choice. They're over 18. That is their choice. If they join the military and they want to serve, it will be my honor, a complete honor. Because the Bible says, and even myself, even though I don't qualify to be in the military, if we are forced, it's like we have to, like there's no soldiers and we have to go to war, I will be more than glad to say, hey, I need some pain medications, but I will fight until I die. Very simple. And I'm going to tell you why. There is no greater sacrifice than to die for another. And that, my friends, is love. Something that you won't understand, and I'm going to say this. You get offended. This is the thing that gets to me with people, and this is for Slump. You come in here and says, oh, I'm against wars. So are we. So are we. But you're not saying you're against war. You're coming in to a channel that supports President Trump. You're coming in not against the war. You're coming in here against Trump. And that, my friends, is something that you don't understand. Do you think that the military, do you think they sign up so that they can look cute in a uniform? Do you think they sign up because they're going to have a bunch of free popsicles? You think that they're going to get all these lobsters and steaks and, some have gotten lobster and steaks, which I believe, oh my God, that's nothing to give our soldiers. I will say this. I am pro-peace. I'm not against war. I want you to understand the difference. I am pro-peace, but I'm not pro-war. There's a big difference. You see, if I'm against war, I'm going to fight against war, and that brings a fight. But if I go pro-peace, it's I want the end result to stay peaceful, to end peaceful. I have another, obviously, video that I'm going to play for you, but let me get it ready so that you can have that in, and you can watch it with me. Okay. Let me see. No, not from him. Nope. Let's go straight to the White House. Let's see, right here. All right, I'll get it ready for you guys. And okay, we're gonna watch the briefing from the White House website. And you know what you don't understand is that here. How do we go? Let me start here with. We have to stand for America first. A lot of people think that America first means that the president has to go and take out all these gangbangers, all the thieves, all the criminals, from our cities and from our states. No. That is the state's responsibility. That is the governor, the mayors. That is their responsibility. There is a reason why we have police officers. We also have assistance from the federal government. We have FBI agents. We have CIA. I don't trust the CIA, but we have that. And we have a National Guard. Every state has that because every state, well, in my opinion, it's like a small country within the country. So we have National Guard. And the thing that gets to me is all of the people who says I'm against war. You guys are not against criminals. You guys support criminals. And that's what I want you to understand. There is a difference. There is a huge difference. You know, when I see those soldiers on the street, the leftist people, the leftist, or those of you probably think this way, even though your father sacrificed his life. Well, by the way, I thank your father for his sacrifice, for his servant, and I wish blessings, and I pray for peace and prosperity for your family and all the descendants of your father. But you need to understand something. That brings honor, not just to him, not to you, but to all of us. And to go in here and talk bad about something that is necessary, that he knew what he signed up for. You are not honoring him. You making it sound like he just went to some stupid war and he died for nothing. That is dishonorable. And that's what I want you to understand. It doesn't matter if we believe that it was right or wrong to be there. The fact that they are our soldiers, it doesn't matter. We need to support them 100%. If they make a mistake, we got their back. We'll own up to it. So what? Nobody's perfect. The world is fighting against us. And I don't mean the good people. I mean the evil people that want to beat us and take over the world. You have to understand, I am pro-peace, but it is necessary to war against those who war against us. Let me tell you something. Venezuela, little by little, is changing back to the old Venezuela that used to be. Strong, united, and prosperous. And you can say, well, they left the same regime. No. We did a change-ish of regime. We left the other one there because we are not in control of their whole country and democracy, but we can definitely squeeze that lemon. You know what I'm saying? That might be a bad thing for somebody else. But what I'm saying is the Venezuelan people will have a democracy. It takes time to rebuild that confidence. This is the one thing that Venezuelans know. If they don't get a fair election trial, if the communists, they start imprisoning political opponents, the United States, the United States of America will step in, and they know that we don't F around. Very simple. Right now, what's going on in Iran, let me tell you what's happening in Cuba. In Cuba, Fidel Castro's brother, no more Castros. No more Castros. After 1 century of Castros, no more. The people in Cuba have hope. You know what the Cubans say in government? Oh, shoot, you know what? You saw what happened in Venezuela. You saw what's happening right now in Iran. President Trump is serious. Marco Rubio is here. They are panicking. The communists that are being oppressing the people, they are in panic. You know how that happens? Because of people like your father, because of vets like the ones that are in my channel, because of soldiers who are now serving in the military, because of all those reserves that we have, because of our sons and daughters and fathers and uncles and cousins that go enlist in the military, we can now make a change in the whole world for the benefit of America. A lot of ignorant people say, why are we going to a war for some oil? You don't know. We got more than enough oil here in the United States for us, but there are things. There is a chain that you have to follow. You don't understand what's happening over there. You guys don't care that Iran was just like us. It was westernized. You don't care that they raised the age of little children, little girls, to 18, to allow them to think for themselves, to choose who they want to marry, to choose what they want to believe, to be who they wanted to be, and you let the Ayatollah come in and switch the age of 18 back to 9 years old because these corrupted, destructive terrorist Muslims, these pedophiles, believe that men can marry women. No, excuse me, they can marry prepubescent little girls. And you are blind and you don't understand why we're fighting over there. Those Muslims that have infiltrated this country will need to learn that we are not going to back down and that we have soldiers that will do what it takes. They will do what I can't do. They will do what you can't do. Many instances I have heard of soldiers even out of my own family, telling me that the people that they had shot were not innocent. They were carrying weapons, shooting against them. I am sure that some of you patriots in here can even correct me or confirm whatever. I have heard plenty of stories, horrific stories. I don't pretend that I know exactly what it feels, but I know what I don't want. I don't even like people being beat up. I don't even like people getting whipped. Discipline. It messes with your emotions, but some things need to happen in order for a change to happen. Now, if you can't deal with that, I understand. I understand. I can tell you this. When people talk about me and they say, oh, why is this guy yelling so much? Well, number one, I got ADD. I'm very passionate. I love the way that things are, okay? But they always come and say, oh, why is he yelling? Oh, my God, I can't stand this. Little wusses. You know how they talk to you in the military? You wouldn't be able to be in the military. If I say a couple of words over here, even if I purposely try to shame a veteran who is a good veteran, the fact that somebody will melt down on the chat because of a comment that I made, I can tell you right now, that is not soldier material. A soldier's got to be able to take it. He's got to be able to know when to fight and when not to fight. That, my friend, is the difference. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to go die for somebody or fight for somebody because they want to see something happen to me. I'm going to do it because I love this country. If I can go into war, so be it. But let me tell you what, it's not going to make a change to any of you that are against us right now. We have great policies with President Donald Trump. Whether you like him or not is irrelevant. You have your opinion. I got my opinion, but the facts are the facts. And you don't have rights to your own facts. You understand? The policies that we have are solid for America. If you stand against Trump because you hate him and you vote for the other party, you are an anti-American. You are a moron, you're an imbecile, and you are brainwashed. Because whether you like President Trump or not, every single soldier that is out there fighting, we got the greatest generals, we got the greatest strategists, we got a lot of people who are giving their tears and sweat and blood for our country. Our country. The Democrats have done nothing but to criticize our involvement in Venezuela, which freed Venezuela, which now we have a relationship with. They have freed Honduras by supporting the president of Honduras right now. They were against us with the protecting the border. They were against us with the nuclear strikes over hitting the nuclear strike facilities. They're against us with the tariffs. They're against us with bringing factories back to the United States of America. They're against us with bringing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs back here in the next few years. They're against us with going over to Qatar. They're going over there to the Middle East, to Emirates. They're against us for doing the Abraham Accords. They're against us for stopping 8 wars. They're against us for making all these countries become more Christian-like, more westernized, more of people. That they're against us on everything that will make this world better. And yet, you come in here, and I don't mean you guys that are supporting, but those who are on the left that are against President Donald Trump, they'd rather the world die as long as he's not president. Well, guess what? The majority of us, using democracy, put him in office. Now, shut the hell up and get out the way and let us do our job. We still got another 3 years to go. And after that, I hope that we have another 28 years to go with our Republican and the same policies. If the policies change, I will not support the Republican Party. It's really that simple. It's not hard to understand. All right? So there you go. If you wanted an explanation, I give you an explanation. It is what it is. I like how all my libtards just left. All the trolls just left the chat. All right, guys. Now we can actually enjoy. I don't know about enjoy the conversation, but we can definitely have more peace in our chat. By the way, shout out to Dirty Money, to Robert, to all of my vets in the house representing it. Many days, I will say this, many days I feel like giving up. like giving up on running for office here in Washington State. I'm a nobody. What do you know about this? And the majority of the people are against you, and you're not going to win. And you hear all this negative. But I tell you what, I appreciate every single one of you guys who have dropped a positive line, those who have supported me, and I know that there's a lot of people in here that I don't have, but I have, where is she? Where Tanya? I know Tanya was in here. Goop Hinder, how are you? Good to always get compliments from Goop Hinder. There's a lot of things happening with us in our country. I know Mike is not here. Man is not here. There's a lot of patriots that have given me a lot of hope to continue to fight. And I'll tell you what, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Don't lose hope. Don't put down our military. Don't. If you don't know why we are attacking Iran, you have a lot of catching up to do. This is what I've been talking about in my channel. I've been giving you a lot of different examples so that you can understand why the things that are happening need to happen. We're adults. We're not children. Yeah, the children are the future, but we are the present. The children don't get to dictate how the future is going to be while we're here. You understand? The teenagers, the sons and daughters of those leftists, of those rebellious parents, they are the ones learning how to create chaos and destruction in this country. You, the American, the real American people here, the birthright citizens, you are being outbred. You understand? The enemy is multiplying in your land. Your enemy is becoming citizens of this country, which you don't appreciate. And as the song says, no one knows what they had until it's gone. That's exactly what's happening to the United States of America, and that is exactly why I cannot shut up. I have to stand up. I have to continue doing what I'm doing, even if I got only 10 people on my life. I hope the message gets out there. I hope that you guys go out and say, listen, we need to fight for the United States of America. Whether you do that in the field as a soldier or in an office in government or as a civilian, as a citizen, trying to go ahead and get your voice heard, supporting the right candidates that are for you and this country. That's how you fight. Not everybody is meant to be a soldier. And I'm not going to go and say, I'm going to be a soldier so that I can prove people wrong. You know why? Because I am a migrant who has come to this country, become a resident and a citizen, and I come from a third world country. I know what it's like. I know the sacrifices that people have to make to go vote. And then you come to this country and Americans' excuse is, oh my God, it's so hard to get an ID to vote. Oh, they really want me to verify that I'm a citizen? Shut the hell up, you lazy ass mofos. In Honduras, people go 1, 2, 3 weeks trying to get their papers in order so that they are able to vote. They spend the night sometimes at the booth to be able to vote. They are there before sunrise, in line, ready with their paperwork, with their documents, so that they can vote, so that they can have their voice heard. And American citizens, for some reason, lazy ass mofos. Oh my God, we can't get an ID. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's unconstitutional. What the hell? Come on, man. Stop being cowards. Get up there, man. I see Hondurans over there with one leg, limping to go in there and vote. No excuses. None. Everybody go and grab their grandmas and their great-grandmas. Mama, you're going to come and vote. Let's get your paperwork situated. This is where we go. Americans make all these excuses. And you know why? That's why God sent us over here to this country. God sends people that will help and counter-fight those who seek to destroy this country. This country is protected by God himself. People like me, who you are over here insulting, are over here telling you the truth, even if it hurts. If you are a birthright citizen, it better hurt, and you better learn, and you better stand up, because what I tell you is a fact. It's the truth. You got a migrant teaching you to defend your country here internally. And all the leftist morons can say is, oh, why don't you go serve in the military? Why don't you go serve and shut the hell up? I honor and respect and I appreciate and I love those who serve. But somebody has to be home. Somebody has to look out for the people in this country. The retardation that goes through the leftist mentality, it's incurable sometimes. I cannot understand that a migrant cares. Not every migrant, but this migrant cares more about this country than some self-righteous piece of shit American born in the States. A lot of migrants, Mexicans, everywhere from Central America, South America, are on my side. Just as much as are those that are against me because they support illegal immigration. I wish that you love this country as much as I do. Those who support me in here, they know me already. They heard enough of my personal life stories to be able to understand why I speak the way that I speak. And yet I'm here being more American than you will probably ever been in your whole life. How is that possible? I don't understand. How is it possible? How can you not see that your enemies, by your stupidity and the misinterpretation of the Constitution of the United States of America, they are here laying eggs, so to speak. They are laying eggs to destroy your future. Do you understand? You get an example of two 18-year-olds, sons of Muslim terrorists. Yes, I blame the parents. That is their fruits. The parents should stand up against that. But you know what? They didn't do anything to stop it either. I have no pity for this kind of people. All I know is we need to fight for the best interest of the United States of America, and every American citizen should stand with me. Here in Washington State, we have a government. Listen to this. They are trying to take away our Second Amendment rights. We've been fighting them. They have been raising taxes unconstitutionally, raising taxes twice. The people voted 11 times against this income tax. They decided to shut the hell up to the citizens' voice, to we the people in Washington, and they went behind our back. They blocked us and put the bill in the floor, and because the majority of the government is Democratic here, even the paid, bought, and sold judges, they all agreed to pass the state income tax, even though it's unconstitutional. The judicial branch that we have here in Washington, they should know better than to be an activist, than to be communist. They got to be American first. How can a judge pass something that is unconstitutional? The left celebrates, oh, tariffs were unconstitutional, we told you so. Maybe the writing, maybe the wording, but the tariff stands. They are trying to remove the voice of the people. They don't want you to vote for taxes for electricity. They don't want you to vote for taxes to go to fire departments, police officers. They are trying to remove right now the sheriff. They want to appoint their own sheriff. I want you to understand that this is a fight against a communist regime across the world. They have been silencing Republican voices in Washington State. The reason why they don't want to release voter rolls is because we will find all this fraud that they've been committing to stay in power. We will find out how many illegal immigrants have been voting them in. We will find out why, when we're doing vote count, they stop at a certain number. And I believe that if we finish the votes, we will know how many people were not supposed to vote. So voter rolls, I want them released. This state is so corrupt. They are fine. Their pension is okay. Their retirement plan is okay. Your Social Security retirement, you're effed up. You're screwed. We are screwed because we are allowing the government to dictate. Yes, this is what a dictator does. A bad dictator, a tyrannical government. We should be up in arms right now against the government here in Washington State. But you know what? As conservatives, as people of faith, we believe that there is still a better way to do things. And that's why I put in my name on the ballot this May to run for governor here in Washington State. And I can tell you this, we are going to be so transparent. My policies will be for American first, okay? But I will support whoever is president as long as they are for America first. Every single policy that the Democrats have in place, they are all shitty. They are anti-American. And I don't know why anybody in their right mind will just hate President Trump when he's got the right policies, when he's making the right decisions, and then follow a party who wants to mutilate, child abuse, pedophile, do all these things that people complain about. They are all in these policies. What do you think the LGBTQ stands for? It stands for all sexual immorality. Gay people and lesbians, they don't want part of it. A lot of them with common sense, they don't want to be part of it. They understand who they are. They understand they have a sexual preference, but you know what? They still know that there is a woman and there is a man. The rest of these people, they are just distracted. I do not support LGBTQ. You will not see a rainbow flag in Olympia in Washington State. You will not see rainbow flags in schools. Not one. Period. Now, before you go and say that I don't support my military, you're absolutely wrong. There's a lot to think about. So before you come over here and get all touchy-touchy and be a drama queen about your feelings, think about what it means first. Sorry, guys. Rant. Here we go.
Can't go in there. I gotta be on the road.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Taoiseach Martin from Ireland, and somebody that we know, we get along with. We've had a very good relationship, and we continue, and we're going to have some big discussions today concerning trade, concerning lots of different subjects. We have a tremendous trade relationship with Ireland, and we'll keep it that way. I think it's going to be expanded very greatly. Probably they want to talk a little bit about tariffs, but I won't mention that. We won't bring that up. But you might want to be discussing that a little bit. But it's an honor to have you, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
And may I thank you, President, for facilitating this visit, and in what is for us probably one of the most important weeks in the United States. And in many ways, you're affirming the tremendous bonds between Ireland and the United States that go back to the very foundation of this republic. And 35 million people in this country claim Irish descent and Irish heritage. And I spent the first 2 days in Philadelphia, going back really into the heart of that history, and the fact that 3 Irish people born on the island of Ireland signed the Declaration of Independence. It was printed by an Irishman, John Dunlap, and disseminated across the colonies. And Charles Thompson, who we discussed earlier, he designed the bald eagle, the seal of the US. So in many ways, our connection is foundational, it's historic. And the Irish helped to build America. We're very proud of that connection. And we think you hosting us here in the White House is affirmation to all the Irish Americans out there and to our diaspora in this country for what they've contributed to America. And that's very much through the prism this year, the America 250. It's a very exciting year, and we're discovering new things. I mean, even a guy from my own city, a guy called Stephen Moylan, who was an aide-de-camp to Washington, he's regarded as the guy who came up with the phrase, the United States of America, first written record, and it's in New York in the museum and so on like that. So that's the nature, the history of those bonds.
Well, you told me something before that was maybe the most interesting of all. How many presidents are in some way related through blood with Ireland.
23.
Can you believe
23
it?
Irish presidents.
They're great politicians. The Irish are great politicians.
Absolutely.
No, but think of it, 23 are in some form, and many of them have gone to Ireland.
Absolutely. yeah.
Grant was,
Grant went to Ireland
Right.
after his presidency.
Right.
I was saying earlier, Ronald Reagan's visit
Right.
was an extraordinary one in a place called Ballyporeen in County Tipperary. And of course, John F. Kennedy,
sure.
whose grandfather was Irish, came back, I think, early '63. That's a very memorable visit because of what tragedy that happened subsequently in the assassination, which touched people in Ireland very deeply. So the Kennedy
Very popular
family,
in
Kennedy
Ireland.
family strong
Very, yeah.
resonation with Ireland.
But we like the family,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
One person in particular. One very non-controversial
I know
person.
that. Yeah.
But now he's doing a very good job, Bill. He really is. But we have more, I think, people here by far than you have in Ireland that are
Absolutely,
of
yeah,
Irish
yeah,
descent.
yeah.
We have, so you have quite a few, but we have a lot.
You have a lot more than we have. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing by a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much. It's a great honor. And
Thank you.
any questions for me?
What is it Ireland in September and will you stay at Dubai?
Well, I'm having, it's a great thing, my son and my family, we have a great golf complex in Ireland, one of the best in the world, called Doonbeg. It's in Doonbeg. And it's been amazing, and Rory McIlroy loves it. They all love it. Great golfers. You have a tremendous golf tradition, and it was chosen for the Irish Open, which is a big deal. That's a big event.
Absolutely. Looking
And,
forward to it.
everybody wants me to be there. You just said, I hope you're going to go.
I did.
And we're going to try. We are going to try. But it would be an honor. But it was a great honor to be chosen. They only choose the best courses in the world for the, for the big opens. It's one of the big ones, the Irish Open. It's really become one of the most important tournaments in the world. It's going to do. I hear it's going to be a fantastic success.
It'll be a great success. Yeah.
So very,
Mr. President,
it's a very hard course.
Mr.
What
President,
progress have you made, Mr. President, in getting America's allies to assist the U.S. in escorting those oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we don't need too much help, and we don't need any help, actually. In fact, we just put out a notice. I was watching over the last couple of weeks, and all of our NATO allies were very much in favor of what we did. They thought it was very important. We were just discussing it, actually. Very important that we take out the nuclear threat from Iran, and we've done that very strongly, very powerfully. We've wiped out their Navy, wiped out their military in every aspect. Their Air Force is now decimated. They have no Air Force, no Navy. They have no radar. Their radar is entirely gone. Their anti-aircraft machinery is gone. Everything is gone. Their leaders are gone. I guess one of their top person was, they say, a lot of people say their actual top was killed yesterday, along with somebody else who was responsible for the killing. The man that was responsible for the killing of 32,000 people over the last 2 weeks, he was in charge of the killing of protesters. It's an evil group. I mean, they've killed much more than 32,000 people. And the man who was responsible for that was also killed yesterday. And all of the NATO allies agreed with us, but they don't want to, despite the fact that we help them so much. We have thousands of soldiers in different countries all over the world, and they don't want to help us, which is amazing. I mean, amazing. And I didn't do a full court press because I think if I did, they probably would be. But we don't need help. That war has been long prosecuted, as far as I'm concerned, almost from day one. We knocked out many of these things. We knocked out the Navy essentially in a couple of days. But I was surprised to see that NATO, while they agree that it was a very important thing to do, they agree fully. Nobody said, oh, you shouldn't do it. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month of when we had the B-2 bombers bomb the nuclear potential. I call it the nuclear dust. So I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test. because we don't need them, but they should have been there. The other thing is, and I think, very important, we didn't have to be there for Ukraine. Biden chose to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on Ukraine. And I guess the head of Germany just made a statement that, well, they weren't involved and they have nothing to do with the war. But at the same time, they think we did a great thing by knocking them out. Nobody wants to have Iran, or anybody, but nobody wants to have Iran with a nuclear, because these people are crazy. They're absolutely crazy, and they're vicious, violent. I mean, they killed, think of it, they killed, now I hear it's about 41,000 people. They put out a notice 2 days ago. Anybody that protests will be immediately shot and killed. That's pretty tough stuff. So everyone agrees with us, but they don't want to help. And we as the United States have to remember that, because we think it's pretty shocking.
President Macron has just said in the last hour that he will never join a task force in the Strait of Hormuz until hostilities finish. Yet yesterday you said...
Who said that? Who said?
President Macron of France. What's your reaction to that, sir?
Well, he'll be out of office very soon, so we'll have to see. I don't know.
President Trump, on Doonbeg, you're building an extension to it at the moment, but there's been an objection put in, and it's being held back at the moment due to small snails. What are you disappointed about that?
Planning Commission is
I have not heard that. No.
Planning Commission.
I mean, the course was built and it's been operated very successfully. Somebody's objecting. You mean an environmental group is objecting to small snails at Doonbeg? I don't know. It doesn't sound like the biggest problem I've ever had.
How close the U.S. to announce a coalition of willing to secure the Strait of Hormuz? Which countries are joining and which countries have...
Well, we've had great support from the Middle East. Qatar has been great. UAE has been absolutely, they've been great. Saudi Arabia has been terrific. Bahrain has been very good. The Middle Eastern countries have been very strong in their support. And of course, Israel has been our partner. Israel's been very, very strong along with us. It's been a very strong collaboration. I was against Iran long before I even thought about Israel being against Iran. If you look back, many years ago, I talked about Iran was a big threat to this country, to this world of ours, and turned out to be, I was right. In fact, I said you have to attack Karg Island. You have to attack them years ago when they were acting up. They've been acting up for 37, 47, I guess now 48 years. For 48 years, they've been bad players, vicious players, and you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. If they got a nuclear weapon, I would say they would have used it within 24 hours after having it. And they would have had it if we didn't bomb them out on that great raid with the B-2 bombers 8 months ago or so. You would have had a nuclear war in the Middle East and maybe beyond. I think it would have hit Europe. Maybe not Ireland, but it would have hit Europe. I think you would have been a nice piece of it. It all gets you. It's big enough that you would have been affected. They would have hit Europe eventually.
Mr. President,
Mr. President, your Director of National Counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you talk
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash? Hundreds of millions of dollars. You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful, they sent hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people because, and there are some people I guess that would say that, but they're not smart people or they're not savvy people. Iran was a tremendous threat. And virtually every NATO nation, and this is the thing, if they told me it wasn't a threat, and therefore they don't want to help, but when they say it was a threat, and it was a major threat, every one of them, I think every one of them, I don't know of one that said they're not a threat, but when they say it was a threat, but we're not going to help, I think they're very foolish. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting because I could say this, that what's happening in Ukraine, we're probably in there for $400 billion. We don't spend any money anymore. They buy it from us and they pay full price. But Biden gave them between $350 and $400 billion of equipment and cash. Someday they'll have to find out about the cash. And you could say that wasn't a threat, you know, we're helping them. So we helped them, and they didn't help us, and I think that's a very bad thing for NATO.
Are there any repercussions for NATO, and are you still going to China?
Well, yeah, on China, it's a little different story. We're resetting the meeting, and it looks like it'll take place in about 5 weeks. We're working with China. They were fine with it. We're going to say, I look forward to seeing President Xi. He looks forward to seeing me, I think. But I do look forward to seeing him. We have a good relationship with China. China actually has become economically for us very good, as you know. It's much different than it was in the past. And we have a very good working relationship with China. So we're making it in about 5 or 6 weeks.
Mr. President, repercussions for NATO for not supporting you on this? Any repercussions?
Well, no, I just think that it's not good for a partnership when they say what you're doing is a great thing, but we're not going to help. You know, they say what you did is a great thing, but we're not going to help.
Mr. President, in Iran, because the Iranian regime has told Sky News, if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm not afraid of. I'm really not afraid of anything.
Are you rethinking United States' relationship with NATO possibly getting out?
Well, I'm disappointed in NATO that we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. Think of it, trillions over the years, many trillions of dollars. It's one of the reasons we have deficits and we help other countries. And when they don't help us, I mean, it's certainly something that we should think about. I don't need Congress for that decision. As you probably know, I can make that decision myself. I'd work with some very smart people. And I'd always deal with Congress anyway, but I don't need Congress for that decision. But, you know, when you say rethink, I have nothing currently in mind, but I will say that I'm not exactly thrilled when we help them with Ukraine. Look, Ukraine would have been over in 1 day if we didn't help. Frankly, Ukraine would have been over in the first day. They had the best equipment in the world. It was our equipment, given by Sleepy Joe Biden. No charge, no charge. Hundreds of billions of dollars of the best equipment in the world, no charge. I will say that I'm not happy about it.
Mr. President, two questions, one on Iran and one on Cuba. Is Iran now a bigger foreign policy priority for you than China? And on Cuba, the Cuban government...
Iran is just a military operation to me. Iran is something that was essentially largely over in 2 or 3 days because the Navy was wiped out almost immediately. The Air Force came next. The anti-aircraft came next. I mean, we're flying over Iran. We could take out their electric capacity in 1 hour. We have all the, there's nothing they can do right now because everything is knocked out. They have no, again, no radar, no anti-aircraft. They have nothing. And we don't, and it was a decision I made. We discussed it, Pete, Marco, JD, all of us, Chris, we discussed it. We can knock out their electricity in a matter of minutes if we wanted to. There's nothing they can do about it. We can knock out their oil in Carg Island. The only thing we didn't take down was their oil because if we knock out, I call them the pipes, very complex. But if you do that, it'll take them forever to rebuild, meaning whoever, and hopefully it's a sane group of people, but whoever it is, it's going to be running that, and we're going to try to get people that are going to run it well, and it's going to be a prosperous, wonderful place. It used to be, if you go back, it used to be the people are great, the people are smart and energetic, and it used to be very successful. Now it's a country run by fear. It's a country where they tell protesters, don't go outside because if you do, we're going to kill you. Well, Cuba right now is in very bad shape. They're talking to Marco, and we'll be doing something with Cuba very soon. We're really focused on this, but we're dealing with Cuba. Marco, do you want to say a couple of words about it?
Yeah, I mean, Cuba has an economy that doesn't work and a political and governmental system that can't fix it. So they have to change dramatically. What they announced yesterday is not dramatic enough. It's not going to fix it. So they've got some big decisions to make over there.
But Secretary Rubio, do you support, and I know this is up to Congress, but do you support easing the trade embargo if you get more cooperation from Havana?
Well, I'm not going to discuss what we would talk about or not. Suffice it to say that the embargo is tied to political change on the island. The embargo is codified. And but the bottom line is their economy doesn't work. It's a non-functional economy. It's an economy that has survived. That revolution, it's not even a revolution, that thing they have, has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and now from Venezuela. They don't get subsidies anymore, so they're in a lot of trouble. And the people in charge, they don't know how to fix it. And so they have to get new people in charge. That's what
And the relationship we have with Venezuela has been, I think you could almost say, incredible. It's been really good. It's been good for Venezuela, and it's been good for us. And I congratulate the Venezuelan baseball team because that was a big win, and I guess they play another game tonight in the finals. And I said a lot of good things have happened to Venezuela lately. This is the first time they've ever been in the finals, and it was pretty exciting. Yeah.
Iran is just a military operation to you, but do you not have a day after plan? And if so, what is your day after plan for Iran?
Well, we have a lot. Look, if we left right now, it would take 10 years for them to rebuild. But we're not ready to leave yet. But we'll be leaving in the near future. We'll be leaving in pretty much the very near future. But right now, they've been decimated from every standpoint. And again, we've had great support from countries in the Middle East, great support. But we've had no support from, essentially, no support from NATO.
What about your relationship with London? Has it been damaged by the fact that Keir Starmer isn't supporting you in this war? And has your opinion of Keir Starmer changed because of this?
Well, he hasn't been supportive, and I think it's a big mistake. They make a lot of money on trade with the United States. I went out of my way, as you know, they couldn't make a deal with Biden because they had no real administration to make a deal, Biden. But we made a deal. We made a good deal for them, and frankly, probably wasn't appreciated. I do look forward to seeing the King. He's going to be coming, as you know, very shortly. But no, I was disappointed because Keir was willing to send 2 aircraft carriers after we won, because essentially there's no threat for the aircraft carriers right now. And I said, no, we want things sent before the war, not after the war is won. So, yeah, I'm disappointed with Keir. I like him. I think he's a nice man, but I'm disappointed. You see that man right there? You know who that is?
Churchill.
That's the late, great Winston Churchill. And Barack Hussein Obama did not want his bust in this office. Did you know that? And Barack Hussein Obama sent that bust back to England. They didn't want it. And when I came in, I was asked if I wanted it. I said, absolutely, I want it. And I put it right there, Winston Churchill. And, you know, unfortunately, Keir is not Winston Churchill.
Do you have
No, hold it. Right.
Just could I
hold it? Hold it.
Just make a number of points. First of all, I think, notwithstanding what has happened, the transatlantic relationship between Europe and the US is very, very important on a number of fronts. And I think we've had issues over the last year or two, but we settled them. And I think many of these leaders engaged with you, particularly on trade initially. Remember all the fuss last year, but we got a landing zone between Europe and the US, and I think we can get a landing zone again. And I think I just met with Keir Starmer last week. The British-Irish relationship is a very important one. Churchill was a great wartime leader, although in Ireland there was kind of a different perspective in terms of during our own war of independence and so on. He created his own bit of difficulties for us. But that said, he was a great wartime hero. Keir Starmer has done a lot to reset the Irish-British relationship. I just want to put that on the record. But I do believe that he's a very earnest, sound person who I think you have a capacity to get on with, and you've got on with him before, and you've got on with other European leaders as well. Sure. And I think you have that capacity again, and I think everyone exists. I mean, you cannot have a rogue state with a nuclear weapon or the capacity for a nuclear weapon. Iran was the sponsor of terrorism. We sanctioned Iran, all the European countries did, as a and the IRGC in particular as a terrorist organization. They sponsored Hamas, they sponsored Hezbollah, the Houthis, they created mayhem, a most maligned force in the Middle East. The Irish position has always been ultimately, can we resolve this through, you know, can we get peace? And obviously there's preconditions before you get to that situation. We had our own conflict, which went on for 30 years, and we learned a lot from that in terms of how to try and bring about peace. And I think I listened to you in terms of, you're correct. I mean, our hearts go out to the Iranian people who have been repressed and suppressed for so many years, culminating in that savage murder of thousands and thousands of Iranians some months ago. No one was in a position to do anything about that. I think, and likewise with Ukraine, I mean, the Russians did invade Ukraine, have attacked civilian infrastructure and so on like that. And for the people of Ukraine who just want peace and an opportunity to live, I think we have to continue to work to see, can we bring peace, different regime to Iran where Iranians can live in peace again, and the people in the Middle East can live in peace. And you're doing your bit there in terms of the work in Gaza and so on like that. And I think that's what we want, is a peaceful resolution of conflict. That's where we come from as a small nation. Right. We've been peacekeepers all our lives. And we're the longest serving nation in terms of provision of peacekeeping forces in the world, as it turns out. But we think ultimately all conflicts come to an end, and I think we have to try and work towards that end. And I'm sure European leaders and the US administration will engage, and hopefully we can get a landing zone somewhere.
I mean, the only thing, and I agree with everything you said, but we helped with Ukraine.
Yes.
And they don't help with Iran. And they all acknowledge that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. You yourself say, you know, these are horrendous people. These are the worst people, and going back to Hitler, right? Going back to Hitler, these are the worst people. That's a long time ago, and there's been nothing close. Every problem, so many deaths, 90% of the people that got blown up by landmines, they loved them. You know, Soleimani, we killed him. If we didn't, it might be a different story, because he was a horrible person, but he was a very powerful person and leader, and smart. But we killed him. If we didn't, I think you'd have it. I did. But I think it would have maybe a different situation. It wouldn't have been so easy as it has been, because it has been very easy. You know, it's all of their military is out, but you could always have somebody drop a mine in the water. It's like terrorism.
Yep.
And then you have the people that own the billion-dollar ship saying, well, let's not move that ship yet because we want. So we thought that Europe would help that, because they do have some minesweepers. But it's amazing that, you know, they all said, what a great job. They would call me congratulating us on the great job we did with respect to Iran, and we knocked the hell out of them. And they're no longer the bully of the Middle East. They were known as the bully of the Middle East, and they're not the bully anymore. But you would have thought they would have said, we'd love to send a couple of minesweepers. It's not a big deal. It doesn't cost very much money. But they didn't do that. So, you know, I think it's very unfair to the United States. Not to me, but to the United States. Go ahead, please.
Keir Starmer isn't making...
She's a fantastic reporter, by the way. Go ahead.
Thank you. The Prime Minister isn't making the case to the British public as to why he should be supporting you. Could you do that now, talk to the UK and to GB News viewers about why it's in their interest that we help you?
Well, because we have a tremendous long-term relationship with the UK. I mean, people would say it's the best. I don't want to get into that, but we've had, it was the longest, the oldest, should be the best. Always was the best until Keir came along, and I like him. He's a nice man. He says everything beautiful. He's a very nice man with a beautiful family. Everything's perfect, but he doesn't produce. And I think it's very inexpensive. I just said, you don't have to send me aircraft carriers. Send me a couple of minesweepers. We don't need your aircraft carriers. But even the aircraft carriers, he would only send them after we essentially won. I mean, he's sending them when there are no planes left. When the missiles are down to 8%, they have like 8% of the missiles. The rest we demolish the missiles, and the factories, largely the factories are going even as we speak. They just hit another factory. They have a lot of missile factories. They have a lot of drone factories, and so he's wants to send them when we don't need them. But we'd like to have minesweepers, because just in case. We don't know that there are any mines down, because we wiped out, I think, 24. They actually have to think of this for a country. They have 24 boats that do nothing but put mines in the water. This doesn't sound like a great country. This doesn't sound like a friendly country, but we killed all of those boats. They're at the bottom of the sea. But so we don't even know if there are any mines there, but if there are, we'd like to have a little help in finding them, probably most importantly.
Would you like a change of Prime Minister? Do you have confidence in Keir Starmer? Would you prefer to deal
Well,
with
it's not for me.
before?
It's really for the people of the UK to have confidence.
Of course,
in it.
but is he
I've been very critical of Keir, and I did it in a friendly way. I said, if you don't change your energy thing and get away from windmills and go back to oil and gas, and you have something that's no other country has. Very few countries have anything like it, the North Sea. You have some of the greatest oil and oil deposits in the entire world. The North Sea. They don't use it. You buy a lot of your oil from Norway. You know where they get their oil? From the North Sea. And you pay a very big price. So why are you paying a lot of money? And I tell them, and you have the better part of the North Sea. So why aren't they taking the oil from the North Sea? Why are they buying oil from Norway? But they have windmills all over the country, destroying those gorgeous Scottish fields and those beautiful fields all over the windmills, which don't work. They're tremendously expensive. And the best testament to that is the windmills are made in China, but China doesn't use them. You know what China uses? Coal. They're building 58 coal-fired plants right now, and that's up to them. But these foolish countries that are buying windmills are putting them out of business. I'm proudly telling you that we're going to try and have no windmills built in the United States during my... Because they're very bad. They're very bad environmentally. They kill the birds. They're unsightly. They make a lot of noise. And for some reason, the environmentalists love windmills, okay?
You say Keir Starmer is a very nice man. Mr. President, you say he's a very nice man.
I think he's a nice man. I think he's a nice man, but I disagree with him on two things, primarily. His immigration policy is a disaster, and his energy policy is a disaster. And they're about the biggest policies you can have. You've allowed millions and millions and millions of people to come into your country that shouldn't be there. And by the way, that's all over Europe. Europe is a different place. It's a different place. And I originate, to put it nicely, many of us do, from Europe. I love Europe. I spend a lot of time in Europe. It's a different place. Bad things have happened to Europe. Very bad things. And you better do something about immigration, and you better do something about energy, or you won't have a Europe.
What's your time frame, Mr. President, for when cargo ships can safely go through the Strait?
It won't be, I don't believe, too long. We're knocking the hell out of the coast. It's basically the coast and the water, and it won't be too long. And the Middle Eastern states, including Israel, by the way, who has been terrific, the Middle Eastern states have been helping us a lot. Go ahead, you, please.
Mr. President, on fuel prices, what do you have to say to the people in Ireland who are paying sky-high prices because of your war in Iran?
Well, I think the people in Ireland are very happy that I'm getting rid of, I have a lot of friends from Ireland, they're very happy that I'm getting rid of a nuclear power, a nuclear terrorist, and as soon as that war's over, which will be soon, your prices are going to drop like a rock. You watch. I've been very good at predicting. No, in the back.
Yes. What do you think about our president's comments that your actions in Iran are breaking international law?
Say it.
What do you think about our president's comments?
Can you speak? You're speaking right into your phone.
Mr. President, how do you respond to the increased attacks by the Iraqi militia groups against the U.S. Embassy and consulate in Kurdistan region?
You want to answer that, JD? Do you want to?
Yeah, well, Marco, obviously, the Secretary of State, has control over the embassy. Look, there have been a lot of militia attacks against our base, or our embassy in Iran. I think Marco's done a good job of limiting the number of people who are at that embassy so we can provide essential functions but also protect our people. But it goes to show there are a lot of terrorists in that region of the world, and we've got to eliminate them when we find them.
And you can't give them nuclear weapons. You can give them rifles, you can give them guns, you can't give them nuclear weapons. I think we agree very strongly on that.
Based on the immigration point.
Yes, excuse me.
Just first of all, I would say, like, Europe is still a very good place to live in.
Good.
A lot just to let you know.
I'm glad to hear that.
And our view is you have to have robust and fair rules around migration. But on the other hand, a lot of people, within the European Union, we have free mobility of people. And in Ireland, our population is growing, but in a very positive way. Our economy is going well because we're attracting a lot of people from Europe and beyond into work, legally and validly in our country. In fact, I'd love if we could develop a legal pathway between the US and Ireland into the future because of our history and so on like that, that we could have a legal pathway, because no one is in favour of illegal migration or and so forth. So you have to have robust rules for that. But fundamentally, I think sometimes Europe gets characterised wrongly in terms of it being overrun or whatever like that. It's much more robust now. There's much more stronger mechanism in place to facilitate legal migration. I think it's important that understanding is there. We need more economic growth in Europe. It doesn't have the same focus on innovation as you do here in the US. We discussed that earlier with the Vice President in terms of technology, in terms of AI. We need to pivot more to innovation as opposed to regulation. I think investing in people, and that's the key to, I think, our collective future. But we do learn lessons. You're doing things and picking it up. Yeah.
Prime Minister, Mr. President, the Irish President has said that your war against Iran is illegal. It's an attack on international law.
Who said that?
The Irish President.
Look, he's lucky I exist. That's all I can say. Because if you're going to allow countries that are sick and demented, and they are demented, to have nuclear weapons, everybody in the whole world should be very thankful. And I'm disappointed in NATO, very disappointed. I'm disappointed in a couple of other countries too. But they should be very thankful that this group of people feels the way we do. Because if a country like Iran was allowed to have the power of a nuclear weapon, if we didn't stop them. I stopped them twice. I stopped them my first term when I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was Barack Obama's deal. It was maybe the worst deal I've ever seen. It gave everything to Iran, including billions of dollars in green cash. I don't mean cash, I mean green cash flown over by airplanes. I can't to this day believe that was allowed to happen. And come to think of it, it would be a good thing for somebody to look at. Does the president have the power to hand hundreds of millions of dollars of cash to terrorists. But it began with that, and I terminated that deal. If I didn't terminate that deal, we might not be here right now. If I didn't terminate that deal, unbelievable nuclear holocaust would have taken place. And then I did it a second time when we hit them with the B-2 bombers, and we totally obliterated their potential nuclear weapon that they would have had in less than 1 month. They think 2 weeks, but in less than 1 month. And it would have been, I believe it would have been a much different world than it is right now. We have to go. We're going to a lunch, so maybe we'll take one more nice question.
Can I ask you how you're doing with your legal case against the BBC and their fake news documentary?
Well, the BBC was incredible. What they did is they had me speaking something I never said. And I've never seen anything quite like it. You know, CBS had that. We had the situation on 60 Minutes, and not the current owners, the past owners. The current owners, I think, are good, Ellison. But BBC took it a step further. They actually they put words in my mouth, and I said some pretty bad things. And I didn't say them. It was AI generated. And I said, I never said that. In fact, some of my people said, wow, that was pretty bad stuff you said. I said, what did I say? You know, I'm pretty good at this stuff. I mean, if you can go through years of these press conferences and you're a popular president of the United States that won in a landslide, that won all 7 swing states, that got record numbers of votes, I mean, so I guess I'm okay at this stuff. I said, I never said that. And then we found out it was AI generated. And they admit they made a mistake. BBC. But I watched them this morning for some crazy reason, and it was so inaccurate. Their reporting of the war was unbelievable. We have decimated that country. And if you watch BBC, it's almost like they're fighting us to a draw. They're not fighting us to a draw. It was very inaccurate news. It was fake news. So I'm very proud of the term fake news because it was my term. I came up with it, but it's no longer accurate. It really is. It's corrupt, fraudulent news. It really is. It's fraudulent. It's not just fake. It's beyond fake. It's really criminal what they do. But I watched BBC this morning, and I don't know much about BBC other than what took place, because people were calling me saying, that was a terrible thing you said. I said, what did I say? And I said, I never said that. And when we checked it, do you agree? They agree. It was somehow generated, I guess, by AI or something, with me saying unbelievable. So we brought a lawsuit against them. They admit they're guilty, but we'll see how it comes out. Thank you. I like that question. I like that question. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. Absolutely gorgeous. So here's a thing. If you don't support me, if you hate my point of view, if you disagree with me, if I disgust you and you want me deported, why the hell are you in my chat? All I do every day is defend American citizens. All I do every day, thank you for subscribing. All I do every day is defend the rights of the people, American citizens. Everybody that hates the fact that Israel is our best ally and that Israel is kicking ass every time somebody attacks them. I don't understand what the problem is. And I will see that a lot of people, even those who are working for Trump, will quit because they get emotionally compromised. You see, the majority of the people that they think they are right doesn't mean they are. And that one minority group that everybody says they're lying, it doesn't mean they're lying. I give you facts. Cuba is no longer talking shit about the United States of America. They want us to come in there and clean things up. Venezuela is behaving because of the actions of President Trump and the administration. And those cowards who quit in the administration, it's something sad to see. But if they get fired, it's for the incompetence of making sure that the job gets done right. You know, President Trump has taken the heat for the mistakes that the administration, the staff of the administration has been making, and yet we continue to strive forward. Cuba right now, what they are saying, the reason why Cuba is now saying, come on, let's do something about it, is because of what they see happen to Venezuela, which is a vast bigger country than Cuba. The world is looking. Israel is this little compared to other countries like Iran. And yet, we are taking over the Communist Party. See, there's different looks and waves and colors of the Communist Party. You got the Chinese, you got the North Korean, you got the Russians, you got Cuba, you got Venezuela, you got Nicaragua, which, by the way, I believe Nicaragua should be next. And I'm going to tell you why. In the Central America, we have 18 countries. 18 countries. No Mexico, no Colombia. I don't think Colombia's in there. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Colombia is in there. But I'm going to tell you this. There is 18 Latin American countries that President Trump has helped, the United States, has helped with economic help and has given them a chance to be able to invest and start a counter cartel organization amongst these leaders. And they know that they have the backing of the United States of America. I'm going to tell you something. Let me ask you a question real quick. If there was a bully in your school, I'll be honest, would you rather be friends with the bully or the ones that get beat up all the time by the bully? Be honest. I will tell you myself, I used to beat up bullies and always defended those who couldn't fight for themselves. There's only one time I have ever ran from a fight. Only one time I ran from a fight. And this was in Edmonds Woodway. In Edmonds, on Sundays, there was people that would go in and play football. Now, I'm a good receiver. I can catch, I can kick, and I can throw the football. I'm only 6'1", okay? Now, yes, I know I'm 265 pounds right now. I get it. I'm a little overweight. But I'm going to tell you something. I was very athletic. I was very good athletic. I will say maybe a little bit more than average. Just average, let's say. And I was invited to go and play with these people. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know what was going on. All I know is a bunch of guys, like 23 guys, that are over there getting together. They invited me to play football. I said, sure, why not? We started playing football, and there is this big guy. The guy is like 6'6", big fat guy. And because they couldn't catch the ball, I was covering the best receiver. They couldn't run the ball with anybody else. They will give the ball to the big fat guy. The big fat guy grabs the ball and just runs people over. I am looking over and I'm like, bro, go for the legs. It doesn't matter how big they are. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And so, you know what? Yeah, F you. Why don't you come and do it? And I said, you know what? You're right. Let me go over there and do it. So I lined up on the outside linebacker position and I said, I wish you would give him the ball. Sure enough, they give him the ball. I come from the side, wrap around his legs, slam him into the ground. Yes, slam him. Believe it or not, there's more muscle than fat in my body. And the guy falls on his face, down. We're good. I turn around. He throws the ball at me. He doesn't hit me, but he throws it at me. And I said, if you don't want to play a men's sport, go sit on the bench and maybe you can cheer. Oh, he's like, what did you say to me? He comes over there and squares up. And I said, well, bitch, let's go. And as soon as I did that, oh, what a big mistake. Everybody, even the guys that invited me, those sons of bitches, everybody was this blood gang wannabes. And so they all started surrounding me. I'm going to tell you something. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing because there was this little Chihuahua guy that was talking so much shit, and I wish I could just slap him on the face and shut him up. But he was talking so much crap, rah, 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 you know, and people were swinging at me, and you know what? There's too many. So I started walking away, and then I started walking faster because they were following me, and before you knew it, I'm running like a coward. Yes, like a dog with his tail between his legs. I knew I cannot take on 23 people, and nobody, not one person had my back, even though I was right. Well, here's the fantastic thing. Just so you know, you guys can talk to yourselves. A few days later, I'm driving around that neighborhood. Jason, I'll give you admin so that you can take care of them. There you go. So I'm driving by the street that is right next to that school. There's a high school. And I see three of the guys. There's a black dude, the white guy, well, two white guys, but there was the little Chihuahua guy that was barking, talking shit to me, and I couldn't do anything about it because there was 22 other guys besides him. And I pulled over. I get out of my car, and I say, okay, here we go, sons of bitches. 3 of you I can take. Let's dance. I know. I'm a little cocky like that. And you will not believe their faces were so scared. And I said, why don't you come over here and tell me what you were saying when you had 20 other people behind you? Go ahead and, I dare you to come and say what you were saying. Go ahead and say it. And then the guy tells me, listen, man, we don't want any trouble. No, you say that you were going to beat the crap out of them. Well, come on and do it. And I found out that, you know what? Why would I fight them? They're already scared. I already know I can take them. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be very honest. I don't like to fight. It's really bad. I don't like to fight. Let me just say it that way, okay? I don't like to fight. And so I said, where are you guys going? And he says, oh, we're just going to the 7-Eleven. I said, well, get in the car, man. I'll give you guys a ride. She said, are you sure? Yeah, just get in the car. I'll give you a ride. And then I take them over there. And then I said, why don't you come in the store? I said, why don't you guys grab some Gatorade, grab a drink, grab some chips. I got you. And you know what? They did. They grabbed some Gatorade. They grabbed whatever they wanted there. I paid for it. And we go outside in the parking lot. And I asked them, I said, why you guys do that? I said, why do you guys do that? And he says, well, you don't understand. I said, well, make me understand. And he says, that big guy that you were going to fight, he says, the whole group is Bloods. And I said, what about it? I said, you're a bunch of cowards. He's like, no, you don't understand. That big guy that you tackled, that you were going to fight, before he was initiated, he was beat up so bad they took him to the hospital because he almost died. And I said, that is your excuse? That is your excuse for being violent against others? How do you hold them accountable for what they do wrong? He says, we can't. When you become family, there's nothing you can do. And I said, well, you see how stupid that sounds? Why would you want to become part of that family? He said, you're right, but what can we do? We're already in. I said, well, you can always leave. He said, no, we can't. I said, I'm sorry that happened to you. But I said, I would think about it. I would rather die free than to live on my knees. I left them. I kid you not. I bought them a drink. I bought them a snack. I had a conversation with them. And for those of you on the left side who thinks that I'm a coward, don't cross me. I'll just say that right now. Don't cross me. Not because I'm always strapped. That's not the reason. But because I'm not a coward. And, I can walk away. I walk away many times. I walk away. Just I don't want to lose it. Let me just say that I'm very good at breaking bones. And I don't like it because I don't like to see people suffer. So I tend to be a lover, not a fighter, okay? Even though my past actually disagrees with that statement. With that being said, what is happening right now with Iran? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. First of all, we have been at the point break in our history where we have seen lawlessness taking over whole countries. We have seen what's happening in Europe. Now, I don't care what these idiots over here come and say about, Europe, the Swiss guy. He comes over here and he thinks that he is all smart and wise and I don't know what's happening in Europe. I really don't give a shit about what happens in Europe. But let me just tell you, just in Swiss alone, I believe there's like a 450, maybe 500,000 illegal Muslims or just Muslims in general. They rule the streets because the Christians are gutless. They want to be politically correct in Europe. And they're bringing that stuff over here to our country. I don't stand for that. I will never support it. I will always fight against it. But they have allowed, just like we have here, except they're more advanced. They're stupider than we are. But they're more advanced, and they have allowed traitors to infiltrate the government. And that small group of people are owning the majority of the people. Let me tell you, here in Washington State, they put in government. You remember the Indian lady, Jayapal? She was an activist. An activist, meaning she was against the government, but against the government that was using the law to preserve the peace in this state. She was out there protesting, and she was pro-illegal immigration. Do you know what she does now in office? That is exactly what she does. She fights for illegal immigrants. She believes that illegal immigrants just want to come and work and support their families. That is so great. Yeah, well, you don't do it by breaking the law. You are more than welcome to come to this country if you meet the criteria. We are not going to be the world's cesspool where you send the worst of the worst. When you read that statement from the Statue of Liberty, bring me your tired and your burden. Listen, that was back in the day. And even then, we didn't want criminals in here. We are not going to allow families who defend criminals in here as well. Why do we need to eradicate illegal immigrants? Let me tell you why. Every excuse that the Democrats use to say, they don't call the police because they're afraid they're going to get deported. That is one of the reasons. If they were legal, they will help us stop crime. But instead, they allow crime to grow and multiply and go untouched until it becomes overwhelming. Why? Because they're illegal. They are afraid to speak up. But if they were legal, they would speak up. Even if they questioned them, even if they say, are you a citizen? You have papers, blah, 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 blah. Even if they did, being legal, they will be able to provide that proof. But being illegal, they don't. So they are afraid of getting deported. And by being deported, they are allowing criminals to go rampant amongst their community. All the illegal immigrants that come into my chat, they don't understand. I am a migrant. The difference is I am a legal migrant. They are illegal. They have no right. They have no permission. They have no reason but their own to be here. I asked for permission. I was granted access. We applied for a green card. We were given access. We complied for 5 years. We complied. No criminal activity, no illegal things, no felonies. We love this country. I waited 2.5 decades. 2.5 decades to become an American citizen. And you know why I am the way that I am? Because I made sure that before I decided that I was going to be permanent in this country, that I was going to be an American citizen, I am going to defend the law of this country, specifically and especially immigration law. You know why? Because I've been given a privilege. I am honored to be an American citizen, and I will fight for every American citizen as the best way that I can. Now, you can make fun of my accent, but let me just give you a reality check. Your accent sucks just as bad as mine because you don't speak English. You speak English American, and that is not the same sort of English. You think you speak Spanish? You don't speak Spanish in Latin America. You speak Castilian. We don't speak Spanish. The Spanish accent is different than the Spanish accent that we have because we are different natives. We are all different native tribes in the whole American continent, North, Central, and South. We are all mixed with European, whether Spaniard, Italian, French, English. It doesn't matter. We are all mutts. So before you come insulting my accent or my looks, or before you get all self-righteous and mighty, why don't you ask yourself a question? If you break the law, if you break federal law and you become a felon by using fake papers, by working here illegally, tell me, how are you going to teach your children to respect the law when every chance they get, they will throw your status in your face? You know how? You don't. You can't. That's why your children are very rebellious. You are their role model. And as the role model, you hate America. So guess what your children are going to do? Your children are also going to hate America. So who do I want on my side? I'm going to tell you this. This is not a channel for you to come and debate. You know, at first, when I started this channel, I wanted people to bring me their opinions. And as I am getting experience on this, I learned that there is hateful people that don't like this country. I learned that there is a lot of naive, entitled, lazy Americans in this country. I mean, I knew that all along, but on my channel, I would think that people that will appreciate that I give my time for them to come in and have a conversation. But they don't appreciate it. I get morons like the guy from last night, Eric. He's banned. He doesn't come to my channel anymore. He will not. Maybe one day I'll let him out of prison. But I want to tell you something. If you don't support me, fantastic. Move along. If you believe what I believe, by all means, be part of the family. I don't care what religion you have. If you're a Muslim, that's your religion. Okay. But I want you to understand what you are supporting. You are supporting, now every Democrat in here, go ahead. Central, your wish is my command. All right, get the hell out of here. Okay, bye-bye. You know, he says, I don't support you. Okay, all right. If you're a Muslim and you think that's what you want to be, okay. But you have to know. Hey, Brenda, I see you. You know, if you want to be a Muslim, you got to know a couple of things, at least a couple of things. One of them, the Prophet Muhammad, who they claim to be the most high prophet, number one, he made himself a prophet, was not placed by God. And the reason that I say that, they don't allow you to question who made him God. They should be proud to say, Allah made me a prophet. Here is the witnesses, blah, blah, blah. They should be happy and proud to be able to say that. But you know why they don't say it? Because it's a lie. Number two, he was a pedophile. Now, I don't care how you see it. You can say, oh, well, what about Israel? Israel also allows pedophiles. Well, wait a second. Wait a minute. According to the Bible, it says mid-teens. That tells me between 11 and 19, that is 15 years old. Now, some people say 14 and up. And the men that marry them had to be 20, 21. The age gap is not that different. The difference with Muslims is they believe that they can marry a female prepubescence, meaning that they are way minors. They haven't even gotten through their first period. They are literally little girls who have not developed the brain enough to make a decision for themselves. Yes, women do mature faster than men, but after a while we catch up and continue to get more maturity. Every man deserves a strong woman. What kind of a strong man takes a 9-year-old for a wife? What is that? What is that? So there you go. It is the truth. You can hate me for it, but it's the truth. It is a fact. The Ayatollah Khamenei that has been taken out by us, when he came into power, you have to understand something. The Western civilization, the Western cultures was taking over the Middle East. And they didn't like that back in 1979 when they came in and became all radical Muslims. The Ayatollah, after women have been given the rights to be equal, like men, they were serving in parliament, they were serving in government. They didn't have to cover their face or their bodies. They used regular clothing. They gave them the age of 18 years old, just like we have here in some states, in most states. 18 years old before they can get married, because that way they will have a way to make a decision for themselves. But when the Khamenei came back, he changed that back. According to the great old righteous Muhammad, from 18 back to 9 years old. Tell me, any male in here, in good conscience, tell me, in good conscience, and don't bullshit me. Don't be lying to me because you hate Trump. In good conscience, tell me that you would allow me to go and marry your 9-year-old. Please put that on the chat. You put that on the chat, I'll ban you forever, bro. You are disgusting. That action should not be tolerated, period. There's a big difference between a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old. Do I think his 15-year-old is okay in the United States of America? No, not according to our law. But my mother was 15 and my father was 27 when they got married. Guess what? A wife of one man and a man that was husband of one wife. This is the way things worked in the past. Laws are given, laws are made to be followed for the better of all mankind. In our country, we believe 18 years old. In some states, it's 17, maybe 16, but they need to have the permission of the parents. And that's a fact. That's a fact. With that being said, let's go back to Iran. When we make war against Iran, is for a reason. For a lot of people that don't understand what this warring is all about. Now, mind you, it's not officially a war, but nonetheless, this seems more like a war than anything else. Okay? Nobody, not one courageous European country wants to step up to clean up the garbage. The only idiot is President Donald Trump, who believes that he can do it. And that's why I support him. I will be the idiot that stands for justice, that stands for good morals. The leftists waste so much time coming over here and trying to raise false testimony against somebody without even having any facts. They got rumors. They got news clips. Those are all allegations. They bring in 34 felonies. Oh my gosh, please. Go back and listen to the trial. Go find out what the hell they actually... Man, it was so boring. I listened to the whole damn thing. It was fake. It was made up. Remember the Russia collusion? It was fake. It was made up. 4 years. They used millions of your taxpayer dollars convincing you that they have massive evidence to be able to put President Trump in jail. None of it was true. They almost shit their pants when he was going to win the second term. What did they do? I don't care what any leftist tells me. They, what's the word? They blocked the Republican vote and replaced it with their own. There was people that double voted. There was dead people that voted for Biden. Makes sense. I mean, the guy is almost there. He's probably calling people from the grave, come and vote for me. But you know what? In all seriousness, there is no way. There is no way. The guy did not even campaign. I mean, the only campaign that I remember from Biden was You know, it's like, oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's it. That's the only thing that I remember from his campaign. A campaign that he ran from the basement. In the meantime, President Trump is out there campaigning almost every single day. Boom, 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 boom. President Biden spends over 2.5 years, probably more, at the beach, at the pool, chilling, relaxing, collecting a presidential pay, connections with Ukraine, making money. I'll give you some of this, some of this money here for free. But in return, I need you to do something for my son. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, let's do it. And how much was your son paid? Okay, 10 million. Yeah, no big deal. No problem. Nobody on the left says anything about that. And then he goes and makes little comments that just, just leered away, and people just defend him and make excuses for him and all these other things. But none of them want to acknowledge. They do not want to acknowledge. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna get a clip just for you. I think I put a clip out here of Joe Biden giving an amazing speech. Give sec. Oh yeah, here we go. I love this speech. This is why Democrats called President Joe Biden. Oh, so Cal, did you go get some more stats to come and fight me with? This is who they think is a genius and is smarter, sharper than a tack. This guy, he knows how to read a teleprompt so good that he even reads the word pause twice.
We stand with America or with Trump. Republicans and Democrats in the Senate came together to send a message of unity to the world. It's time for the House Republicans to do the same thing, to pass this bill immediately, to stand for decency, stand for democracy, to stand up to a so-called leader hell-bent on weakening American security. And I mean it sincerely. History is watching. History is watching. In moments like this, we have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. God bless you all. May God protect our speakers. And I promise I'll come back and answer questions later. Thank you.
Yeah, don't take questions. Don't take questions.
When Trump said that, sir, what did Putin hear?
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please? Get him out of here. Throw him out.
We stand with America.
Oh, don't worry. I got another one. For you.
4 more years. Pause.
4 more years. Pause. They're telling him to take a pause so that they can start chanting 4 more years. And the moment that he says pause, please tell me that he is better than President Trump. There is no way that you really believe that. No way. And you know what? And I love this reaction. Yeah, you don't know. He's like, oh, shoot, I messed up.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please? Get him out of here. Throw him out. Yeah, you can get him out. Yeah, get him out. Get him the hell out of here. Get him out of here. Get out. Get him out of here.
Hey, as much as I give him shit, he was still my president, regardless. That is no question, no question. And then we have $10 gas in California. Actually, I love it. I want to see California just be destroyed so that it can be rebuilt back up by good people. This is why I love Mark from the United Nations. He's the best.
Again, as I said a number of times, there is only one person in the whole world who was able to break the deadlock when it comes to the war in Ukraine, and that is the American President Donald J. Trump, and he did. He started in February to get engaged, and he is engaged up to and including today.
Again, only one person in the world, President Donald Trump. You know what? I'm going to play a video from a Venezuelan guy. You guys, if you guys don't go through my shorts, I'm going to force you.
We all feel the same.
I'm going to force you to watch my shorts.
We're all speaking in one voice, which is
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Marco Rubio. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. Thank you to the United States for standing for liberty and for justice. Yesterday was a day of justice, remember. Maduro is an indicted narco-terrorist. He was arrested in a police operation, so the president executed his power as president, enforcing the law. I knew that socialism was going to starve us to death if we didn't lead. That's the fate for so many millions of people. That's why Venezuela today is the largest refugee crisis in the planet.
The contrast of those celebrating in Florida, I went out to a protest yesterday, people calling for Maduro to be released, and they were talking about socialism. How does that?
These are paid protesters who are not Venezuelan, who don't know anything about our country, who, people have a right to their opinion, but they don't have a right to their own facts. And the facts are that Maduro is a criminal, a murderer, who has a friend of mine in prison for 18 months. Her name is Maria Oropesa. She's in a torture center. She hasn't been released.
So why do you want to be there?
Because I want to see justice being done. Trump could have killed Maduro, and I would have been okay with it, to be honest. But this is even better. He's enforcing the law. He's doing what's right. He's putting him to shame, not by defeating him with more tyranny, but by defeating him with the rule of law.
Bam! With the rule of law. Talk shit about Venezuela again. That is absolutely something that President Trump has done himself. And I also want to say, okay, so I heard, because people from California call me and be like, gas prices is $8.30. Well, maybe it went back down to $5.70. Maybe. But you people, yes, you people have called me in and says, oh, yeah, well, gas prices in California are $8.30. Thanks to President Donald Trump. And here you are telling me that those people from California lied to me. And it's only $5.70. That's nothing. But hey, you know what? Don't take my word for it about this Venezuela thing. I believe Venezuela is much better because of what Trump did. If you don't want to hear it from me, take it from A. Smith. Well, he's not wrong.
You got 535 elected officials in the United States government that you're supposed to be consulted with. I get that when it comes to the nation building. I just don't want to hear it when it came to him going to Venezuela, going to Caracas to grab Maduro. If you got a bounty on his head, and the Biden administration had a bounty on his head, and then another $50 million bounty on his head, 15 to 25 to 50, once you got his ass, that's not something to be complaining about, because everybody was in on it. Everybody was cool with it. If you cool with the bounty, you got to be cool with the captain.
Well, he's not. You see what I'm saying? You're going to tell me that after I'm covering all of these things, I'm listening to all these hearings, I'm listening to other Americans on the left and on the right speak. You're going to tell me that all I'm telling you is lies. Please. You're still confused?
He's still in place. The defense minister, who has deep ties to Russia, $15 million price on his head, he is still in place. I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in
power. It's very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not, and he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door.
Look at the leftists. Look at the leftists eating their own. Stephen A. Smith is a hardcore Democrat. Look at them eating their own. When their own disagree with them, they just eat them. They just take them apart. That's what they do. I want you Democrats that are on the good, that you guys are good Americans. Join us. Leave these libtards. You or the Democrats that are actually good Americans. You are not libtards. You're not demon rats. You are better than that. You made the right choice in this last election and helped us put President Trump in office. Don't deviate from that. Believe me, if you keep supporting this communist, socialist, Marxist party, this country is going down the toilet. On the midterms, vote for real, not fake, real Republicans, because you will find a lot of those demon rats, those libtards, pretending to be a Republican nominee, but they are still the same corrupted Marxist, communist, socialists. Get away from that party. We can go back to being Democrats again when the playing field is even. But right now, their policies are anti-American. And I know that you're an American patriot. Come and join us. Forget about the fake Democratic Party. They killed our Democratic Party a long time ago. We need to build a new one. But before we can do that, we got to put this country first. And you have to be on the right side of history, as they always claim that we are fighting against democracy. Well, we use democracy. We won. And they still don't want to accept it.
Or grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me, why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd. I do think this is one of the most, daring, complicated, sophisticated missions this country has carried out in a very long time. Tremendous credit to the U.S. military personnel who did it. It was unbelievable. And tremendous success. And today, an indicted drug trafficker who was not the legitimate president of Venezuela, who we don't recognize, the Biden administration didn't recognize, 60-something countries don't recognize, the European Union doesn't recognize, and many countries in Latin America don't recognize. He was a indicted drug trafficker.
Also, the Honduras president, that Biden's administration, with collaboration with the communist people that were fighting the Honduras president, actually convicted him of being a drug lord, which Nicolas Maduro is actually the one with the title, and put him in jail for 45 years, which, by the way, President Trump pardoned him. Juan Orlando Hernandez is who I'm talking about. A lot of people don't know this, but it's a fact, and Rubio is mentioning him as well in this list.
He was arrested. His wife was arrested.
Right,
also
but the
indicted,
others who are also indicted are still
system of courts.
The others who are also indicted are still in place. So that's the point of my questioning there. But you talked about not being the legitimate
So you wanted
president.
us to land in 5 other military bases?
No, I'm asking why you chose that this was the limit of the military operation. But to your point that you just made, that that Maduro was not the legitimate president.
He was the guy who was claiming to be the president.
Right.
Right. And just in case you don't know what happened afterwards, just in case, just for shits and giggles, come for me, he says. Come and get me, you coward, he says. Well, this is what happens when you call on the President of the United States of America, who doesn't F around. Check this out.
Last night, on the order of the President of the United States, and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice 2 indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history.
Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office. Because
bam! We don't F around. And the Castro family, the guys who have been, oppressing the Cubans, they don't say, come and get me, do they? They are trying to find a way to leave Cuba. They are trying to find a way to leave Cuba. He don't say, come and get me, coward. You know why? They mention it. You see what happened to Venezuela? You see what happened to Iran? Oh, hell no. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Oh, man, that was juicy. That was juicy. Another reason for national security concerns. Here we go. Somebody mentioned ICE. I got you. Here we go. Let's see. Why do we need ICE? Well, let's take a look at Fox and Friends through the weekend and see what they said about anything with ICE.
Illegal immigrant released under the Joe Biden administration is charged with 9 counts of assault and battery for allegedly groping female classmates in the halls of Fairfax High School in Virginia. The principal wrote a letter to parents saying, quote, "We are writing to share the news of the recent arrest of a student who was charged with inappropriately touching other students at school. These incidents involved the student touching students' buttocks while they were transitioning in the hallways." Stephanie Lundquist Aurora is the mother of 3 students in the Fairfax County school system and the Fairfax chapter leader of the Independent Women's Network and a contributor for Independent Women Features. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, Stephanie. This student was, the parents were not alerted about what happened with these students until several weeks later and until the parents started complaining to the school. Is that correct?
It's true, and it's really shocking because my son attends a middle school where there was racist language used, which is undoubtedly a problem, but we were notified immediately when that happened. And in this case, sexual assault, the school principal waited 2 weeks to alert the community, and that was only after pressure from the parents. Really, Rachel, I think this entire horrifying situation is the direct consequence of policy with really dysfunctional priorities, and that's to shield illegal adult illegal immigrants at the expense of children's safety, even in their public schools.
So let me explain this to our viewers a little bit more clearly. An illegal can come into or register into the public schools with 0 documentation. Is that correct?
That's absolutely the case.
So we don't know how old they are. They could be 25 and just look young.
That's right. In the school policy, the district policy is that they can attend Fairfax.
This is very important. This is why we don't need them to have ID, guys. This is why Democrats, Democrats, they fight for no need for ID, guys. Let our children in school being raped by these people because you don't want to do your due diligence. Come on, man. Man, you gotta protect your children. You're in here calling all these names on President Trump and all of us, but yet you are the real reason why these children are being put through all this nonsense. Unbelievable.
County public schools at the taxpayer's expense until they are 22 years old. So even if they look, if they look 22 and maybe not even then, they're not seeking their documentation because by definition, this is by design, they're undocumented. So we have no idea how old a lot of these people are.
I want to read you what the Fairfax High School said because we reached out to the Fairfax High School and the school district. They did not give us a statement. But they did tell the local news, Channel 7 in Virginia, this. They said, while Fairfax County Public Schools is unable to comment on specifics due to federal and state privacy laws, we prioritize student and staff safety. We fully investigate anytime.
And I really hate that BS excuse, privacy. You're a pedophile. You are a sexual predator. You don't get privacy. Democrats love to do privacy on criminals, but they do nothing to defend the innocent people. Unbelievable.
Someone shares that an incident has occurred at school or that they do not feel safe at school. What's your reaction to that?
It's so ridiculous. I wonder, in their definition, what is safety? Because the mothers claimed that the school officials told them that when the Ortiz, the perpetrator or the alleged perpetrator, is out of jail, he will be allowed to attend the school again. Is that keeping the children safe? That's not safety.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He was charged with assault and not sexual assault, which would have had a higher penalty as well. Right. Stephanie, we really appreciate you coming in. It's a very serious.
You see what I'm saying? It's not fake news. These are facts. Why you keep defending that? On the same note, let's take a listen to Brandy Cruz from Undivided and her little segment of, I think it's like 5 minutes. Well, here's getting a reaction from Antifa terrorist. It all goes with ice. I'm glad somebody brought ice because that's how you guys just, what's the word? You inspire me to continue to tell the truth to the world. Go ahead, Brandy.
North Texas Antifa cell that they were accused of carrying out this ambush shooting attack on an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas. This was back on July 4th of last year. Well, they've now been convicted, and it is the first such conviction of Antifa as sort of a terror cell, so to speak. This is from our friend Andy No. You really should follow his No Comment Substack. He covers these issues better than anyone else. All members of Texas Antifa cell convicted in first federal terrorism trial. The 9 defendants are accused in the July 4th ambush on a Texas ICE facility, and they were charged with providing support to terrorists and attempted murder of federal officers. So here's where it all shook out. So it was 2 full days of deliberation. The trial lasted 12 days. Jurors convicted the defendants of providing material support to terrorists, rioting, conspiracy to use and carry explosives, and using and carrying explosives. So those are some significant federal charges. Benjamin Song, who prosecutors described as the ringleader, wasn't charged with the explosives-related charges, but was convicted of the more serious attempted murder of a peace officer, as well as multiple counts related to discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. Daniel Rolando Sanchez Estrada, a Mexican national, was found guilty of conspiracy to conceal documents and corruptly concealing documents or records after the attack. His partner, Marciela Ruedo, was also found guilty of conspiracy to conceal documents after telling him to hide her far-left extremist texts. So these are about as serious as it gets when it comes to federal convictions. One little part in this, besides their conviction, that gave me joy is this paragraph from Andy. As the verdict was being read out, some of the Antifa supporters started wailing and crying, resulting in 2 of them being ejected from the courtroom. Defendants Zachary Evitz and Bradford Morris broke down in tears. Ringleader Benjamin Song continued smirking. But I mean, the fact that some of them were in there crying, that is the FO part of FA. And I think that this will have such a profound impact on these far left radical groups who, some of these people might serve life in a federal prison. And I've said before, the makeup of these Antifa extremists. You've got the couple people who are die hard. They will literally die for their cause. And then you have a bunch of loners, really, who are just looking to belong somewhere. And I think that explanation of what happened in the courtroom shows you who's who. The ringleader, he just sat there smirking. Those are the die hard. Those are the people who are willing to go to federal prison, willing to die for their cause. And then you have the 2 people bursting into tears, crying like, oh my gosh, those are the hangers-on. Those are the people who got caught up in something dangerous in their attempt to belong and are now going to spend some hard time in federal prison as a result. But there are still people out there who...
That right there is key. Their attempt to belong. This is why people paint their hair with the rainbow colors. They want to have troll colors. I'm sorry if you like really crazy hairdos. That's on you. But these people are really doing it to fit in. They are doing it just to matter. They want some attention. They want to belong to something. And they push so hard to be different. They say they want to be different from everybody else, but that's not what they want. They don't want to be different. They just want to be like somebody else. They're never really happy with themselves. But if you go out there and color your hair with all these crazy colors, by all means, if it's a football game, baseball, soccer, basketball, I get it. But any other thing that is not in a sports event or some sort of celebration or masquerades, you should have regular hair color. If you want red hair, get it. If you want purple hair, okay, get it. But the moment that you start looking like a witch, we're going to call you a witch. That's just the way it is. Please don't imitate Hollywood. Please don't think that having ugly-ass clothes on makes you very stylish. That's just not how it works in the real world. You look ridiculous. Grabbing those pants and sagging them, if you don't know what that means, well, every prisoner knows what that means. Easy access. And you better think about what you're trying to represent before you try to look like them. Don't be an ignorant fool and go out there and dress like other people thinking this is the cool way, when in reality, they're just setting you up to be the next fool on the street.
Who believe in one of the reasons I say that this will probably have a profound impact on this radical left-wing extremism is for so long they've been able to get away with it. think of how many acts of rioting, of violence, far left people have carried out in the Seattle area over the last 10 years with nary a consequence. There were a few charges after the summer of 2020 related to people who lit cop cars on fire in downtown Seattle, but by and large, the violence was allowed to go unpunished. I mean, how many times have I been assaulted? Do you think anyone's ever faced consequences for assaulting me? I mean, police haven't even made arrests. Like, I identified a suspect in my Tukwila assault outside the ICE facility like 6 months ago, and I've never heard back. And I know I positively ID'd them. So these people have gotten away with so much. And so for that group, and I think probably 70 to 80% are these loners who want to belong to something, like very low IQ, I think this will cause some of them to think twice. The diehards will always be the diehards. They'll be willing to take federal prison time. But I think they'll have a harder time recruiting other people who see this and think, I don't want to go to federal prison. This was scary, though. Andy published this X account called FPW Protect Trans Kids. The only appropriate response for the Prairieland defendants is retaliation. Don't let the fascist state go unpunished. So we'll see if Antifa terror cells want to carry out any sort of attacks in retribution to what happened in Texas. FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi responding. Kash Patel says this FBI and our partners at the Justice Department will continue tracking down criminal actors with Antifa and dismantling their operations and funding networks. Pam Bondi says today the Justice Department secured convictions on terrorism charges for 9 members of Antifa who attacked an ICE facility in Texas. Antifa is a domestic terror organization. The left has let them flourish. Under POTUS, we are putting them in jail. And of course, for me personally, it means a lot having been victimized by Antifa. I got an opportunity, as you know, last year to go to the White House to be part of their Antifa roundtable. And we urged the federal government to start putting these people in prison. And so I, on social media over the weekend, thanked Pam Bondi and the FBI and the Justice Department for making good on the promise that they made to us last fall that they would start to prosecute them as terrorists, which is what they are.
100%. Brandy Cruz, ladies and gentlemen. I need to reach out to her, to be honest. She is an investigative journalist. She is very good at what she does. She has a good team, put together. She has good friendships with other media people. And she actually talks with people who want to talk with him from the government, from the government. And I need to team up with her. There's a couple of other people that I have met as well, that I'm going to reach out to them and see what we can do. But I cannot do that until I actually have my name officially on the ballot. And for that to happen, I have to wait until May. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play a video from CNN because I want you to understand something. This is all to all Americans. Not everybody is going to have the sense nor the balls to do what the United States is doing right now in Iran because they cannot see past their noses. They cannot see the clear picture or at least have a glimpse of logical thinking that this thing that is happening in Iran is a very preventive measure. A lot of leftists like to say, oh, just because they said that, they had weapons, nuclear capabilities, just because they said they had 11 nukes, just because they said death to America, just because they, you know what, you can still keep thinking naively. And because of that exact mentality that you on the leftists have, this country was invaded by mass illegal migration during your Biden administration. I don't want to hear jack shit from the left to come over here and try to judge or be prejudiced against Trump and the administration as if you guys did any better. Democracy gave us the access to President Trump and what we have today. You little weenies on the left need to stay in your lane. If you're not going to help, get the hell out the way, shut the hell up, and let us do what we're doing. You have been benefiting from us fighting for America, our soldiers during wars, and for those civilians that are out here telling the truth. Ain't nobody giving me no $8,000 a month. Are you kidding me? If I got $8,000 a month, I will have a better setup. Instead, I got to get my fake background. I got to get my flag from, well, that is pretty cool. The 250-year-old, 50-year anniversary birthday for the United States of America. Go and spend $100 or something for this and $100 or something for this. Listen, that's my money. I do what I want with it. This is the country. This represents the country where I was born. This represents the country that I will die in. It's very simple. My loyalty is to the land where I live. And I'm going to say this. If I lived in Honduras, and if I somehow, and you will have to forgive me, my brothers, but if I have to renounce to my American citizenship to be able to run for president of Honduras, I can guarantee you my first and only goal with the United States is to have the best relationship that I can, because I know how important it is to be allies of the United States of America. And right now, the only Americans that stand for the United States of America are the ones on the right, the ones who follow the policies that benefits the United States of America, the ones who follow the policies that are allowing us to go block these drugs coming from Venezuela. We're not done. We still got a lot of work to do, but there's a big advantage to have that. We have a president in Honduras. Thank you, Lord, that we have a president in Honduras that coincides with everything that President Donald Trump and the administration is doing. He wants to have a great relationship with the United States of America. And once these little attacks on Iran and all this thing gets settled in, I want to see how my Honduran people prosper. And hopefully they will never have the excuse nor the reason nor the need to want to come to the United States of America illegally. That is my hope. And I can tell you that I will always fight for Americans to be put in a pedestal, so to speak. But with that being said, let's remember, why did Japan wanted to make a deal with us? Why was the president of Japan so happy to unite with us? Because of our power, because of our military power. Now, are they going to support us in these attacks? Probably not. Maybe they're cowards. Maybe. But so was Canadians. Canada, they sided with China. Why? Canada has said that Islam is their national religion. What? They just said death to Canada, death to America, death to Israel. And that's what they say. Unbelievable. Whatever. The UK is losing their parliament. The UK is being attacked by illegal Muslims, illegal immigrant Muslims. It happens to be that they're Muslims. That's just the way it is. Their women are getting raped. No consequences. There's no consequences. They have been putting illegal immigrants over their own people. And every country has been doing this. This is a communist tactic. A communist tactic. Number one, bring Marxism, which brings denial of God. Bring Marxism in a Christian country, because that is the best way to weaken the nations. So we're not stupid. We're not stupid. We know that Mohammed and the Muslims waited for two Christian nations to fight each other so that they would become weakened. And then they came in and fight. We have two parties in the United States of America, Republican and Democrat. What are we doing? We're fighting with each other. And what's going to happen when we become weak? The Muslims will come in and take over. The Muslims are nothing to the Chinese. The Chinese can mop the floor with Muslims. They don't care. They are the same people that kill their own people as well. It would be so much easier to take care of Muslims than there is to take care of us, Americans. This country, Genghis Khan had a good idea. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. Genghis Khan had an idea that he will allow all religions to be practiced in his nation. And look what happened. Where are they at? Where are they at? Thanks to Muslims. Go look in history. Go find out. Where are they at thanks to the Muslims, thanks to Islam, to submit, to submission? Go look in history. See where they're at. I know you don't like to hear the truth, but I'm going to tell you what the truth is. And again, my disclaimer is always, there is a religious people, they're longing to be a spiritual culture, but they don't pay attention to the scriptures. They don't pay attention, or they don't care, or they like it. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is that once you know the truth and you continue to support pedophiles, that you continue to support oppressing women, that my friends, that's your choice. If my advice means anything, leave the Islam religion. It is not godly. I'm sorry, it's not godly. Maybe when you pray to my God as well, but the religion itself does not. They don't. Now, with that being said, here is CNN to give us some real numbers on who approves or disapproves, and of course, all these numbers are going to be really bad. So, with that being said, let's give the leftist people a little bit of things to cheer on.
Ron, no wonder the leaders in those countries are, let's just say, a little apprehensive about helping out the U.S.
So compare this to the environment in 2003, and I'm picking that point because that was the beginning of the U.S. intervention war in Iraq. How did people in these countries feel at the beginning of that war compared to now?
Okay, so you see these numbers are quite low. They weren't always this low when it came to U.S. military action in the Middle East, because take a look at this situation. Okay, shift in net approval rating, U.S. military action in Iran now versus in Iraq in 2003. In Canada, way down. We're talking down, get this, 27 points. How about in Japan? Down way down there, down 45 points. How about in the UK? And of course, there was UK involvement in that particular war. Look at that, down 48 points. So what we're seeing is a massive, massive shift when it comes to how the people, our allies, people in those countries, are viewing the U.S. military action in the Middle East. Far less popular this time around. No wonder the leaders in those countries want pretty much absolutely nothing to do with this conflict, because they know there are big electoral consequences if they do, and not good electoral consequences.
What's happening overall with views of America abroad?
Yeah, okay, so you see these numbers, you see these shifts down in terms of how our allies or folks in those countries view U.S. military action in the Middle East. You see how unpopular it is this time around. Canada, Japan, the U.K. And this is just part of a larger picture, Mr. Berman. A larger picture. Favorable view of the U.S. in 2025 versus 2024. Of course, Donald Trump being the president in 2025, Joe Biden being the president of the United States in 2024. Look at this. Favorable view of the U.S. down 79% of 24 countries' residents asked. The bottom line is this. The folks overseas are far less likely to view the U.S. favorably, and those chickens, they're coming home to roost in this situation, as there's very little support abroad for the U.S. military action in Iran.
And they have to worry about politics at home, these leaders do. Herrera, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Berman.
We defend all these countries, and then do you have any minesweepers? And they say, well, would it be possible for us not to get involved? We spend trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO to defend other countries. And I always said, but if it ever comes time to defend us, they're not going to be there. Many of them would not be there. And we're going to have to start thinking more wisely in this country.
Ashley, as the show was starting, we were talking about the coalition of the willing era from the Bush era versus whatever this is now, the coalition of the vaguely unwilling. What did you see in how the president was talking about allies now?
Well, first of all, I think the coalition of the willing was a different time, just because remember, America was attacked first. So there was a lot of people that were coming up and surrounding and helping us during that time. But I also think what's going to happen to NATO after this, because at least as long as President Trump's there, he's going to get very angry in regards to American dollars going towards NATO. Here's what I think is happening in Europe. First of all, they don't have that many ships to give. I mean, a lot of them do not have ones that are ready to go, especially in places like England and France. But Also, they are giving a ton of money and have a very unpopular, populist message that's happening with their support of Ukraine right now. I mean, obviously, that's something you've seen for the last few years in the United States of don't give any more money to Ukraine. That has been starting over the last year. So I think they're, meaning the leaders of Europe, are really fighting their battles back home in regards to their people do not want to get involved in a war that was not
Maybe
started
that
by
is
them.
what we're seeing in the reflection of some of these country responses. We did a roundup. I'm going to start with Estonia. Quote, it's a bit rich. Australia, we won't be sending a ship to the Strait of Hormuz. Germany, it is not NATO's war. Diplomacy.
NATO is the useless creation, man-made creation. They're useless. As much as I like Mark, as much as I like some of the people in NATO, they should get rid of NATO, create a new alliance. We have 18 Latin American countries on this part of the hemisphere on our side. Let's see how many other people on the other side want to join us and do things that we want to do. I know I'm probably encouraging World War III and IV and V and the destruction of humankind. Who knows? Maybe that's what the libtards want. But I know that that is a useless tactic. When have they ever stood up for the innocent? NATO does nothing. When 35,000 Iranian civilians are being massacred by their own government, NATO doesn't do jack squat. What did NATO do when China is killing millions of their own people? Nothing. Jack squat. What could NATO do against Russia attacking Ukraine? Nothing. They could do jack squat. Who had to step up? The United States of America. Who buys oil from Iran? Who uses the Hormuz? Who uses it? And why aren't they defending it? Why aren't they making sure that there is a safe passage? Do you see the difference between cowards and those who are courageous trying to make the right things happen? All of them cowards. They're like the leftist socialists. They like to allow the capitalist people to work, invest, sacrifice, work hard, give everything of their lives. And if they are successful, tax the crap out of them. In the meantime, they don't lift one finger to take care of their own bull crap. That's a fact. That is a fact. I can't even finish listening to that anymore. I can't even finish listening to it. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. Why don't we go to my Facebook here? I had some videos lined up. Dang it, I should have shared them. I want to go ahead and try to find them. Love that. Huh. Democrats damage to Washington. $80 billion budget. Unconstitutional tax. See, I've been talking about this. And, well, here we go. Here's another piece of that. Higher taxes, broken promises, less affordability. It sounds like a campaign, but it's true. You can contact the governor. 360-902-4111. Fantastic. Look at this. This is a mall here in the United States of America, but you wouldn't know it because they're all Somalis. And there is no audio. I don't know why Facebook is blocking it. But this is what the mall looks like. Full of Somalis. Welcome, Mark. Chaos, fights, violence, theft, fraud, scammers. It's like this is their oath. This is all they know to do. And where do they get all that money? Not working. They get all that money from all the fraud and all the scams that they do. They all have shops set up for clothing. Not one set of American clothing. And yet, they thrive. They pay all of their bills. But they don't make any sales. All of them. Somalis. Nothing to see. Top counterterrorism official Joe Kent resigns over Trump's Iran war. Says Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Well, Joe Kent, I'm glad that he resigned. You really believe that Iran posed no threat? After seeing 35,000, this is my biggest excuse, 35,000 people being killed from their own government that says death to America. I'm supposed to sit back here and pretend that when they say death to America, it means nothing. They're bluffing. They're not going to do anything. That they have enough enriched uranium at 60+% to make 11 nukes. You think I'm supposed to accept that they're bluffing, that they're lying, that nothing's going to happen? And then, bam, 35,000 people of their own people get killed after they say, we will kill you if you go protest on the street. Huh? You're okay with that happening. But you're not okay with President Trump saying, listen, if you kill one person, I'm coming after your ass. I'm warning you right now. You kill one of those protesters, I'm coming after your ass. You know what? They killed him. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? What's going on? Trump, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Let's get him. Our warriors are ready to go. I know our pilots are good to go. Every single one of our military warriors are willing to sacrifice their lives to stand up for what's right. Not just for the freedom of these libtards. Not just for the freedom of these libtards entitled Americans that they don't even take advantage of it. They destroy it. They don't appreciate the gift. They are out there able to go and curse the police out in their face. The same people that our soldiers fight to defend and represent are the same libtards, the retarded people who fight against us, who side with illegals in the first place. You can hate me for speaking the truth. It is what it is. But I'm going to tell you, even though I say all these things about illegal immigration, nobody's going to fight harder for the Hispanic community like I will. And you can take that to the bank. But it's got to be done the right way. I will not accept criminals. I don't give a what you think of me. I will not allow criminals to stay in my state. Period. Everybody else gets a pass. You get a chance. If you don't meet the requirements, you got to go. You got to go. I have more feeling for those Hispanic, the Latino businesses out there, you know, they sell bread and they meat and all this other stuff. And I know they have illegal carniceros and they have all these illegal employees in there. I want to know why they are here. I want to know, what do you think about the United States? Where does your alliance lie? Like, for example, hot tamales. That is an illegal beaner right now. That is an illegal immigrant hating on somebody, a migrant that respected the law, by the way, that became an American citizen, which is now why I am able to run for government. You know, illegal immigrants like him and naive, ignorant Americans who support that mentality is the reason why this country is being destroyed. But I can guarantee you something. I can guarantee you something. That when I come into office, I'm going to gather all of them. I'm going to go directly to their businesses because I know where they're at. Yes, escorted, but I'm going to go to their businesses and I want to talk with them personally. Why are you here? And don't tell me it's because you had to make money to save your children. Why are you here? Here's a little tip for all of you illegal immigrants and dumbasses that don't know anything about national security in this country. Here's a tip. I want to hear, I believe the United States of America is the greatest country on earth. Ding! Check one. I want to be able to raise my family in this country and pay taxes like a responsible American. Bing! Check. Have you committed any crime or any felonies, or will you ever hide criminality because of your fear of your status in this country? No. Bing! Okay, fill out an application. I would love to see it. I would like to send that application and talk with the federal government, and I want to say this is the kind of people that I want in this country. And I can tell you something. I can't wait for these Hispanics. And I know that there's more, Indians and Chinese. But first of all, I want to take care of my community first. I'm a little selfish like that. I'll take care of my community first, and then we'll see what happens with the rest. My Hispanic community comes first when it comes to making people legal, okay, or fighting for their legal rights to be given. And then everybody else. Just like I put America first, it doesn't mean that everybody else in the world doesn't get to have our help. Of course they do. If we can help, we will help. If we can take out China, of course we'll take out China. But you know what? There's no need. China is bringing a lot of money into the world as well. They do a lot of service. They do a lot of labor. I don't want to lose China as in the market. I just want them to be fair. I want them to pay their fair share. I like how the leftists always tell everybody else, I want the rich and the billionaire to pay the fair tax, their fair share. Shut the hell up. Why did you say I want China to pay the fair share? Huh? Why don't you say I want Russia, I want Europe to pay their fair share? Why don't you say that? And you know why you can't say that? Because that means that you will be agreeing with what President Donald Trump is doing. That's why you don't do it. But that's why you're stupid. Because you are destroying your country without even knowing. That's it. Without even knowing. Oh, whoa. What's going on here? And this is why I don't go to any beach anymore. I go to the lake. You see the top part right there? They're celebrating, having fun, looking good honeys. Good looking man in there for the ladies. And then now, it's the bottom. Now it's the bottom. This is what the beach looks like today. I'm sorry, but they're all black. Oh, man. What do you say to that? Thank you, Lisa. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? You see what lawlessness does? In any country, in any nation, in any city, in any community. You see what lawlessness looks like? Something that can be so fun and free and fantastic is destroyed by ghetto-ness. You just got to go and go through videos. Look at this. What the hell is this? Safety concerns at county courthouse. This is here in Seattle, I think. This is common news. Country Council Member Reagan, this is ongoing security problem. We have here at the King County Courthouse is ridiculous. Dunn says the December attack on 75-year-old Jeanette Markin. These are the Democrats ruling here in Washington State. Look at this. This guy on the street, boom, takes out this old lady with a stick. That's not the first time that he commits that offense, by the way. Some bitch. I'm sorry, but I would have beat the crap out of him. Gary, what the hell are you talking about? Get the hell out of my chat, bro. You called me a racist? You racist mofo. Get the hell out of here, bro. Go whine somewhere else. Go find your leftist show and be supportive. Do something good for your life. Yeah. So they passed the income tax bill, which, by the way, the state income tax is illegal. It is unconstitutional here in Washington state. And the government decided to say, I don't give a crap about the citizens' rights or what the Constitution says. We're going to pass this bill because we need more money. That's how they do it. Hey, listen, I'm going to ask you, listen, hey, can I borrow $100? And you say, hell no. Get a job, Dennis. You know what I'm going to say? Well, here's my gun. Give me your money. That's what they're doing. They're tyrants. It is exactly what they're doing. First, they ask you, and if you say no, they'll rob you. That is what Democrats do. I don't understand why nobody says that. Nobody on the left seems to notice that. Everybody thinks, lies, Dennis, lies. Why you're always lying? Like this jackass that just came into my chat. You're racist. What the hell? What? Who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell are you talking about? That's why I said, get the hell out of my chat, man. A school ice protest. This is what they teach the next generation. Fucking retards, man. Retards. There's I mean, it's like there's almost no hope for the future, man. I had to push myself to continue to fight. I have to continue myself to come on here and allow these libtards to come and insult me. And yet, I get not one little ounce of patriotism from the left. Why is that? I can understand the illegal retards that come in here. I get it. They're illegal. They're criminals. But the Americans that support it, I just don't get it. The United States has been informed by most of our NATO allies that they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran in the Middle East. This, despite the fact that almost every country strongly agreed with what we are doing, and that Iran cannot in any way, shape, or form be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. I am not surprised by their action, however, because I always consider NATO, where we spend hundreds of billions of dollars per year protecting the same countries, to be one-way street. We will protect them, but they will do nothing for us in particular in a time of need. Fortunately, we have decimated Iran's military. Their navy is gone. And perhaps most importantly, their leaders at virtually every level are gone, never to threaten us again. Our Middle Eastern allies are the world again. He's fighting not just for us. Hard Dog, I like that name, bro. Oh, here we go. Man, absolutely. Well, you got to pass a criminal background test. You know what I'm saying? If you pass a criminal background, absolutely. But only if you are for America first. You got to put Washingtonians first. And I'd be more excited to have people that actually want to care about protecting this great state of Washington. I am looking for a few people. We need to meet. We need to talk. It's not protesting. I want to find good, honest people who are good with money, who are good with law, and that have maybe some sort of experience campaigning in any level. And first of all, I want to make sure that you understand what my policies are. And one of my policies is Washington State Americans first. Washingtonian American first. No sanctuary city anymore. No more sanctuary state. We are going to turn this state purple. We do not want to be soft on criminals anymore. We're going to see if we can bring asylums back. I really think asylums back would be a good idea, or some sort of equivalent. No more free drugs. No more cocaine, heroin, or fentanyl being handed out to homeless people. No more. We are not going to be wasting billions of dollars on paraphernalia. We're not going to be wasting billions of dollars on illegal drugs and making them legal because we want to make money and stay in power. No more. Our veterans comes first before anybody else. Farmers, they got to be taken care of. Big farming corporations, they better stand up for the legit, legal farm workers. And that's where I'm going. Thank you, Cotting. Appreciate you, big bro. This post of Trump is a proof to see if the U.S. can stay in NATO. They failed the test. I think with this, we are out. And I hope so, bro. I really hope that you are right. You are right. I hope so. Because of the fact that we have had such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. In fact, speaking as President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world, we do not need the help of anyone. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. That's right, hard dog. That's right, and we're against all of that. You know, last night I had this. I'm assuming that he was an American. I had this man. He's in the older age for the voice, and he says that he is against Republicans, and he is against Democrats. And I said, okay, why? Well, he said, I think that Republicans should allow any drugs to be used. This is true. This is true. And so I said, well, I don't agree with that. And I have to go against it. And I'm a big advocate of say no to drugs. Remember the old DARE there? I'm a big advocate for that. Listen, you can smoke your weed. You can drink your beer. You take your shots at tequila. Be responsible. You can smoke tobacco. We will lower the taxes so that you pay less for that. We're going to deregulate a lot of things to lower prices. We're going to deregulate and cut taxes on gas. We'll see. First of all, I don't want to promise you that everything's going to be paradise, beautiful, clean, and everything is fantastic. First of all, let me get in office. Let me take a look at this budget. I want to go and investigate, audit the crap out of this government that has been happening for the last couple of decades. I want to find out where the money has gone. And as soon as I find out where the money has gone, I am going to try to get that money back. If I cannot get that money back, you, the people, will be the first ones to know why, who was involved, and why I was not able to do. You know what? Maybe I'm just getting more in trouble before I even get into campaigning. So I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to like me. I have left multiple messages to Bob Ferguson letting him know that I'm coming. He probably doesn't care. He probably just think, this guy with 18,000 subscribers, no big deal. Who cares? But the truth is that God is on our side. This is the reason why I agree with President Trump's comments. And Cutting Edge, great observation. Great observation. I believe we don't need NATO. If NATO wants to be on our side, they need to come back to us. They need to come back to us. 100%. They need to come back to us. Let them figure out what the hell they want to do. Let them lose their countries. And I will say this. We will be hated even more. And even more people are going to want to invade us. But I'm giving you a big warning right now. You better start standing up against illegal immigration. I don't care how emotional it makes you feel, how you feel bad for these families. They got their own country, doggone it. They got their own country. You want to help them? Send money to them. Go serve them. Go bring them food and housing and go help them with all that. You go do that over there. Stop using all the people's money because you don't see it coming out of your pocket. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't defend the national security of this country when shit hits the fan, you've been warned. You've been warned. You continue, Super Angus. I don't care what you think about God. I believe in God, and He is real, and that's all that matters. Thank you for visiting. Just a warning. That's all I can tell you. It's just a warning. I feel that we still have a lot of work to do. It's a fact. We still have a lot of work to do. But you know what? I think in the end, I think we'll be okay. I will give you this warning. I would prioritize yourself getting right with God. You can choose whatever religion you want. Get right with God. If my advice can help you in any way, if you don't believe in God, there's only one way for you to go. See, in order for you to go to heaven, in order for you to receive salvation, you have to choose. You have to choose Jesus Christ, the only way, the truth, and the life. In order to go to hell, you don't even have to believe in Satan. You're going there anyway. Just get right with God. Do the best that you can. Do the best that you can in your life. But I can tell you anything. Amen, brother. Amen. God is with us. That's why we don't need anybody. But at the same time, we welcome everybody who wants to join us on this fight against communism, against corruption, against godless and lawless behaviors. You know what, Christians? We don't hate you. We don't wish you death. We love you. We wish salvation for you. And you will have your freedom to be whatever you want. As governor, I promise, I will always protect the rights of everybody. And there will be no favoritism for Christians. I just know that my brothers and I will continue to pray for you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the USA. I will see you all on the next one.